olhos e rouba minha olhos. Secreto-me batem com boca fechada. Ainda tô buscando peixe ou fome. Interior de peles nossas pouco e pouco a massagem cair. Vamos, já paixão cobre as várias coisas no meu sonho. As asas da vida, o pétala brilha, flor de lixo bonita e a orfagem gato, perna da lenha e sim, na jardim oculta, a gente nos nossos olhos é muito tarde, mas porque todas as coisas falam mentira. Estou olhando azul em terra, pouco e pouco água fluir. Vamos, já
Hello! It's been a couple days since my last stream. Sorry about that. Let's see. Hope my audio's alright. I noticed last time when I went back and looked at the VOD that it was a little loud. I'm sorry about that. I need to fix the balancing next time me and Simone stream together. But yeah, I've had this game for a while, and I haven't had time to play it yet. Oh, hi Apple, welcome! Yeah, I'm sorry I haven't streamed much these past couple weeks. I've had this weird mystery case of vertigo, and so I'm just constantly dizzy all the time. It's the worst. I went to get it checked out, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong. I'm gonna get some medicine, though, to help me, I think tomorrow? So hopefully I'll be back to streaming more often. Let's see. I don't know what the difficulty settings are like for this game. I kind of just want to play on normal. I can't read along because it's scrolling too fast. I only know like the very basics about this game's plot. My head hurts. Where am I? What happened? You finally woke up. I've been waiting for so long. I was beginning to worry that you might never wake up. It's a talking dog. And are you... my pet? Must stay calm. How dare you call me a pet? Do I look like a pet? Well, yes. I'm your servant, don't you remember? Servant? Servant? What is this talking dog going on about? Am I having a dream? Servant, as in, you could help me fetch the newspaper? Have you lost your memories? Lost my memories? Yeah, you fell down the stairs yesterday. Then you passed out. I thought you might have hit your head. I fell. But my head doesn't hurt anywhere. There's no bruising. Anyway, let's both settle down a little. How about a quick test? Now look into my big, beautiful eyes and tell me, what is my name? Fluffy? Fluffy my ass. Well, I guess you really did lose your memories. My name is Will. Sometimes I go by Willy. Willy? Yes, Willy. Willy Wonka? No, it's just Willy. I don't own a chocolate factory. Also, don't you know that chocolate is dangerous for dogs? Oh, wait, I'm not a dog. Oh boy, seems worse than I thought. Listen to me carefully. I'm not a dog, and you're not a human. That doesn't sound right. We are gods. What? Yes, that's right. We are gods. How did you know what I was thinking just now? I'm a god. Of course I know. As gods, it is our job to change the fate of the humans who ask us for help. Humans encounter all kinds of trouble in their lives, and sometimes they pray to us, hoping for miracles, as they call them. We can help them and grant their wishes. Or not. It's all up to you, of course. Wait. Stop babbling so fast. I don't understand what you're saying at all. I'm not babbling, you're just too slow. You know what? Let's start with job orientation, shall we? Come over here. It's time to do some work. Oh, hold on. Are we starting already? I still don't have a clue what's going on. Besides, didn't you just tell me that we're gods? Why do gods have to do work? Don't lie to me just because I've lost my memories. I was not lying. In any case, if you don't finish today's work, we won't have any dinner tonight. Fine. Let's see. Oh, Boba! Hi! Nice to see you! See that small red box? That is a message from the human today. Alright, let's see what she's got herself into this time. Yeah, why do gods have to work? Oh. Let's see. My name is Li Wen. I'm a senior at Yingnan High School. I'm not sure of the pronunciation. Yeah. You're right, Apple. You're right. I mean, I guess gods have to do something, right? Today I went to a nearby court to play tennis for the first time since I moved to my new place. It was a poorly maintained court, so I guess hardly anyone ever uses it. Thank you, Boba. Hold on, let me, Which button was it? Let me blush for you here. I need to catch, you when you stream next, Boba. I've been wanting to. I've been trying to get some bed rest, though, so I haven't had the time to watch many other people's streams. Let's see. The light over the tennis court is maintained by some of the residents themselves. The dim light bulb kept making a buzzing noise. 1, 2, 3. I just hit all 30 of the balls that I had, so I picked up the now empty basket. I walked to the other side of the court and collected the balls before hitting them all again. Apple, I think even the gods of laziness have to do something, right? No one else was on the tennis court. All I could hear was the sound of the balls hitting my racket and then bouncing off the ground. The light bulb flickered twice and went out. I picked up most of the balls and left the court, walking towards a small alley. I had walked through it earlier on my way to the court. The alley was always dark, no matter what time of day it was. I kept humming to myself quietly in my head, just to be less scared. I arrived at my apartment and suddenly realized that my keys were not in my pocket. Well, I don't think you have to be a god to want to enjoy your work, right? Oops. I accidentally toggled an expression. There we go. I'm still trying to get used to all my expression toggles on my model. Let's see. I tried to think back. I must have left them at the tennis court. If the light hadn't suddenly gone out, I would have noticed that they were not on me. Well, this sucked. It's too late to go back to the court. Not to mention I might not even be able to find the keys without any light. A desk lamp was on in the manager's office, as was the radio, but nobody was in there. I stood outside the window and waited for a long time, but Uncle Sun, who was supposed to be on duty tonight, never showed up. And the motion sensor lights in the hallway kept turning on and off every few minutes. I was beginning to feel a little scared. A late-night talk show was on. The hosts were talking about a popular urban legend that had also been making the rounds at school. It said that if you wrote a note to God in the middle of the night, then God would solve all of your problems for you. Xing was really into this stuff. Well, if such a God really exists, maybe he or she could help unlock the door for me. Or make Uncle Sun come back to his office soon. Please, please, Li Wen. Okay. Okay. So you can read back through it. Well, do people always write to gods just because they forgot their keys? Not always, no. But humans are exceptionally annoying. You'll see a lot more random nonsense of all kinds in the future. Forget about why she asked for our help for now. Let's take a look at how we may help her. Now, use this pen I just gave you. We can slice this letter into several pieces. Now see, some of these pieces are black, and some of them are white. To prevent logical chaos, some of these pieces cannot be moved. These pieces are designated in black. Meanwhile, the white pieces can be moved anywhere with one exception. No white pieces can go past the first or the last piece. Now that you understand the limitations in moving these pieces, you may feel free to move the white pieces around. After you rearrange the white pieces, these events will happen exactly as you want in the human world. Okay, I understand. If your rearrangement has altered the previous causal links within the events, naturally, the ending of the letter will be changed. Well, that's about it. What? Are you telling me that I could change what has happened to the human by moving these sentences around? Exactly. Isn't it straightforward? Oh gosh, that is so awesome. Can you do it too? Only the person who's holding the pen is capable of this. Go ahead, give it a try. Okay. So it's, a word puzzle. So I can only move these two for the tutorial. Let's see. The alley was always very dark to begin with, and with the light gone it had become pitch black. Couldn't even see my hands in front of my face. I kept having a feeling that something was going to happen. Scenes from horror movies and homicide shows I'd seen suddenly flashed through my head. Since I was too scared, I turned around and picked another longer way home. Words and puzzles. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't look too complicated. Yet, at least. The detour was a crowded and lively street. It was full of people hanging out and waiting in front of bars. A lot of arcades were still open. I was planning to head straight home and go to bed, but I saw the... Oh. Hey, there's some text highlighted in blue here. That means it's a term archived in our dictionary. The human's letters often include some special terms related to their day-to-day lives. These terms will be highlighted. Since we are gods, there's nothing that we don't understand. Therefore, whenever we encounter one of these strange terms, a definition for them will automatically appear in our dictionary. Let's see... Okay, a dictionary feature. By the way, similar to the dictionary, we also keep a record of the profiles of everyone who has written to us. All you need to do is press X on the letter selection screen to read all about them. Oh wow, being a god is so convenient. Oh. Is there a history button? I accidentally skipped past it. Oops. Unfortunately, it was not for sale. I had to get it out of a claw machine. I'm not very good at those. Spent almost all of the cash I had on me, but I didn't come close even once. Miss, we're about to close. Please check your belongings and don't leave anything behind. What's our pantheon like? Good question. Good question. I lowered my head in disappointment. I noticed that there was a bottle of some kind of drink on the counter that had appeared out of nowhere. Perhaps somebody had forgotten it there, picked it up and threw it in the trash on my way out. Got home and turned on the light. All the boxes I had moved in 2 days ago were still lying all over the floor. Okay. Tomorrow. I'll unpack them tomorrow. I'm too exhausted now. At least the shower felt great. Got out of the shower, climbed into bed, and immediately fell asleep. Good night. Achievement? There's an achievement for that? Look, because of what you did, now it's the alley that has a broken light bulb, instead of the tennis court. Therefore, the girl would not have left her keys at the dark tennis court. Even though it was only a tiny change, you have indeed changed her fate. Okay. That's handy. More importantly, you might have changed more than what we are seeing right now. The impact of this tiny event could last for a long time, maybe even influence her entire life. Really? That seems a little excessive. A chain reaction like this is called the butterfly effect in the human world. We still can't be certain of how big the impact to her future is going to be. But keep in mind that our power has a potentially dangerous side to it. We must never abuse it. I understand. Well, we're done with this letter. Let's go back and see if there are more. Rank S. Okay. Being a god is so easy. Don't get too excited. You still have a lot to learn. Now the alley light's gone out, someone gets mugged. I think we prevented her from being mugged, though. I fetched the letters for you up until now. From now on, you should be getting your own letters. Placed a mailbox to the bottom left corner of the screen. If the flag is up by the mailbox, it means there are new letters inside. Did you hear a sound like ding ding just now? That's the new letter notification. Whenever you hear it, that means some new letters have arrived. If you've processed all the letters at hand, go and check the mailbox. Got it. Oh, there's a mailbox button. I see.
对不起。
神，请帮帮我！
2 new letters. Okay. Oh, we can look at the character profiles, right. Oh, she's cute! Let's see. We don't know who this character is yet. Are they connected? Sometimes we might see multiple messages from 2 or more people at the same time. Why do humans have so many problems? In cases like this, you have to read through both messages in one breath before we can start working on them. Oh, okay. I see. What are you doing? I'm trying to see how long I can hold my breath. I don't think I could finish 2 letters in one breath. It's just a metaphor. Well, what should I do to find the other letter after reading the first one? After reading one letter, you may press LR to open the next letter. Okay. I see. Whenever you need to switch between the 2 letters, just use the next letter button to switch back and forth. Okay, I'll start now. It had been 10 years. I had been cursed since the incident. Every time I picked up my paintbrush, my mind would start tormenting me, wreaking havoc. For 10 years, I hadn't been able to paint anything. I was suffering, and I deserved it. But now I had spent all my savings, yet I was still alive. A friend was kind enough to set me up with a teaching job at a high school, teaching the art class. I would start tomorrow. It wasn't particularly well paid, but for someone who'd been living without power, water, or heat in his apartment, it was like a burning pit of charcoal in the middle of a blizzard. Wait, this poor guy. That sounds awful. I was really grateful to my friend. Oops. I accidentally turned my volume down on my headphones. There we go. Ironically, I just bought myself some charcoal earlier today. I thought I might be able to leave something worthwhile to the world as a painter before I died. Yes, I wanted to make one of those final masterpieces. Wait, no! Hold on! You're just starting a new job! Don't give up yet! I set up my easel. 1 hour passed. 2 hours. 3 hours. I had to put down the brush. Even if I managed to paint something, how would it be different from all the other garbage in this room? It would just be another piece of soulless trash. Just like me. Don't say that about yourself. I don't even know who you are yet. But come on. All trash. I poured the coal into a basin and put it on the bedroom floor. I put on my best clothes. I carefully made my bed. And I lit the coals. I tried the doorknob and realized that the door wasn't locked. I chuckled. That was careless of me. I double-checked all the doors and windows, making sure that they'd been locked and sealed. I couldn't take any chances. No, stop! Hold on! I lay down in my bed. All I could see was her face. Here I come, honey. No! Sorry for making you wait so long. Why is this so sad right out of the gate? Hold on. God, I'm ready. Please take me away. No, we're saving you! Winzoren? I don't know if I'm pronouncing these names right. I'm not very good at Chinese pronunciation. Oh no. This is so sad. I guess we're absolutely saving this guy, right? And back to the student. The apartment building I just moved into was quite old. It didn't have an elevator, so I had to climb the stairs every day. As usual, it was already past midnight when I got back from tennis practice. I noticed something at my door as soon as I walked into the 4th floor hallway. Was that a bouquet of roses? And the Sir Spotty toy I'd seen at the arcade a few days ago. I had a sudden sinking feeling of anxiety. I'd been getting strange emails starting the day before yesterday. This was the first one. I've been watching you for a long time. Right back to me. Oh no! Hold on, everyone's having really serious problems right off the bat. No, this poor girl. At first, I thought maybe someone had sent it to the wrong address by accident. Or it could have been some random phishing email, so I didn't pay any attention to it. But the next day I received another one. Please write back to me. I still have no idea what those weird symbols mean. Whoever had written the email seemed to think that we knew each other. My cell phone suddenly buzzed in my pocket. It had a new email. I clicked on the email app with a shaking finger. Oh, that's creepy! No! We shall finally meet soon. I don't understand those symbols at all, but the words in the middle. All of a sudden I felt a chill down my back, as if I was being watched by someone. Or something. My body had froze, and I didn't dare turn around. I looked into the reflection in the glass of the window in front of me, trying to see if there was anything behind me. There wasn't. I was just being paranoid. No, you're not being paranoid. This is serious. Hold on. Still, I decided to go and spend the night at Jing's place, just in case. I walked towards the staircase, but then I heard it. Footsteps, coming upstairs, closer and closer. Who could it be at this late hour? A stalker! Get out of there! No! Could it be the one who had written those emails? She's really out here being a horror protagonist? Yeah, she is! This is awful immediately. Poor girl. I immediately turned around and ran back towards my apartment. But I lived alone. What if they broke in? He would force me into the corner, pull a chainsaw out from behind him, and cut me to pieces. God, no. I stopped at the door of my neighbor, room 414. I choose you. Help me. No matter how hard I knocked, nothing happened. I tried not to cry so much that I wouldn't be heard. The tears were already streaming down my face. Calm down, Li Wen. And the footsteps stopped at the 4th floor, and were now moving towards me. There's only one more corner between us. It's too late for me to hide in my own apartment now. I held my tennis racket up. I swung it down as hard as I could with my eyes closed when the person arrived at the corner. The person I'd hit wobbled and fell down the stairs. It was Uncle Sun. He seemed to be just going around the building and picking up the trash. Oh no. Oh no. Uncle Sun was laying on the ground, and he was not moving at all. My God, what have I done? God, please help me. Please, please, that's... Hold on. That's really serious. Bruh, yeah. This is a bro moment, isn't it? Christ. Scary. She was the real horror all along. She's just scared. It's, does this count as self-defense? Let's see. When there's more than one letter, the white pieces can be moved left and right as well, in addition to up and down. Okay. Since it will impact the fate of both people, you must be careful when making your decisions. Okay. Looks like that's the only movement I can make. I think it's more along the lines of manslaughter. Yeah. God, I'm ready. Please take me away. What was that noise? I struggled to sit up in my bed. My head felt like it was going to explode. Damn it. Just a little longer and God would have taken me. Whoever had made that noise, be it a burglar or my utility guy, I'd never forgive them. Excuse me, sorry for the intrusion. I sneaked into my neighbor's apartment. It was completely dark inside and smelled funny. It was so hard to breathe in this apartment. I wondered who'd live in such a place. I shut the door right behind me. I accidentally knocked over some jars that were shelved next to the door, and they made some very loud noises. Still, nobody responded. I suppose there really wasn't anyone home. I looked out from the peephole while I held my breath. A thin, old humpbacked man walked by the door with empty plastic bottles in his hands. It was just Uncle Sun, the manager. Phew. Okay. And this one's easy too. As Shakespeare once said, security is mortal's chiefest enemy, which could mean that overconfidence is man's greatest enemy. What? Who? Shakespeare. He's one of the greatest writers in human history. Overconfidence is man's greatest enemy? Well, but I am no man. Okay, then do you remember this person's name? Wen Sao... I have it on the tip of my tongue. You should pay more attention. His name is Wen Sao Ren. Okay, I have a bad memory. I get your point. It's only easy because you're just getting started. You'll see soon enough. Yeah, these are very tutorial-ish. What does the yellow star mean? When you see a yellow star, that means you've unlocked all the possible endings of that particular event. Oh, okay. Oh, is that what the grade's for? Like how well you resolve it? I see. Oh, should I try to collect all the yellow stars? Oh, no, that won't be necessary. Our job's is just to help the human with their troubles. No matter how many times we try, or how many endings we unlock, if they're human, there's only one ending to each story that they will ever know. So it doesn't really matter whether or not you unlock all of the endings. In that case, what is the star there for? Well, I know you're asking me, but to be honest, I don't really know. Completionist. That's what it's there for. Can I look at his profile? It's not unlocked yet. Okay. Plus pulls up the menu. Help is subjective. Fair enough, especially if we're playing a god. Let's see, another with this guy, huh? Somebody had ruined my plan. Damn it. I sat up and realized I could barely stand. The entire room was spinning. I felt so nauseated that I almost threw up. Just a little longer, and I could have seen her again. The room was completely dark since I hadn't been able to pay my utility bill for a while. I lifted my foot and tried to take a step, but I tripped over my easel. The brushes and paints fell all over the place. I crouched down and slowly started to pick them up again. It took me a while as I was so exhausted. I put out the fire and opened a window. I stumbled upon my flashlight and pressed the button. I heard a deafening explosion. Was that a gas explosion? I thought I saw a slender figure of somebody fall down in the fire before I passed out. Wait. These people aren't very good at surviving. When I woke up, the doctor told me that there was a 17-year-old girl who had been sent to the hospital along with me. She hadn't made it. Fortunately, however, I was still alive. I had third-degree burns all over my body. I lost my right arm, and I couldn't speak. Couldn't even do something as simple as ask what the girl's name was. God, why? Why didn't you just kill me instead? Wen Xiaoren. That... No! This... Oh, it keeps getting worse. Let's see. Well, the goal is to save him. We're saving him. It's not a matter of hate. It's I want to save him because I want to help him. Right? Let's see. I can only move these three. So do we have to prevent the gas explosion somehow? I guess let's open the window first. If we open the window first and then spend the time picking stuff up, it'll give the apartment time to air out, right? Who's there? I pressed the button on my flashlight in a hurry, and the white light almost blinded me. Ah. I saw a shadow fall to the ground. Quickly turned my light towards the sound and saw that it was a girl I'd never met before. Checked to see if she was still breathing. She was. I remembered a school picnic during my junior high years. I had done the same thing to scare a girl in my class. She didn't faint, even though I'd done it intentionally. Kids today are so weak. I carried the girl into my ventilated bedroom, laid her down on my bed, and pulled the sheet over her. I went back to the living room and picked up my paintbrush. I tried to remember her panicking face when she saw me. I suddenly had a new feeling that I could paint something special this time. And yet, I just fell asleep with the brush in my hand while leaning against the wall. Okay, I was right. S rank. Wow, that was scary. I don't want to see anything else like that ever again. Well, if you do want to see it again, you can. While you're reading a letter, press replay to review the entire letter again. Okay. I wonder though, why can't we see all these images? Are we just reading their letters? And technically, we're not actually receiving handwritten letters from humans. You could think of these letters as a manifestation of their will. That's why they include more than the text you are reading. Sometimes we receive images of what they see, or even how they feel. Wow, that's really amazing. Okay. Well, that was easy enough. How'd you feel? Whew, everything felt so unreal. Am I really a god? Have I always been living here? And has the sky outside always been so red? It's even snowing outside. The weather's so weird. I have no memories of any of this. Is any of this real? Of course. Don't worry about it. Your memories will come back to you slowly. Anyway, don't you think this job is perfect for you? And it isn't too hard either, is it? That's true. It is more interesting than I thought. Well, it is interesting indeed. It's also rather serious. From now on, I won't repeat myself anymore. Some of my previous instructions can be found in the help menu. Contents in the help menu will also grow as you learn more about your job. So it'll get more complicated. However, you might not be able to find everything you need in there. For instance, if you forget or didn't pay attention to what I've told you, you might never be able to hear it again. So the truly important information, as you see here, will be highlighted in orange text. Things in orange text are extremely important. When you see something in orange, you should slow down your reading and pay extra attention. Okay. Now, answer fast. Which of the following words were highlighted in orange in what I just said? Good question. Extremely important? I'm sorry. I have a bad memory too. See, I knew this was going to happen. You have to remember the importance of every word in orange text. As long as you pay attention to them, they will be very helpful in completing your tasks. In other words, if you don't, you're likely to get stuck in some of the more challenging tasks. Something attention, yeah. That's how I feel right now. We're going to restart the game now to teach you a lesson, so that you understand how serious I am. Huh? I noticed that you've already saved your progress manually. That's a great habit. However, if you haven't saved for a while, it could be useful to take advantage of the autosave function. Okay. It'll take you back to your most recently autosaved data point. Well, that's all for now. We'll say goodbye for the moment. I hope I see you again soon. I'll be here waiting. Wait. It actually took me back to the menu. Hold on. How'd you feel? Oh, wait. Hold on. How do I continue? Do I just have to choose the right option? Truly important information. Okay. There we go. Truly important information, I think. Correct. The orange text may appear, not only in my words, but also occasionally in the human's letters as well. The human's letters might include text in other colors too, such as yellow and blue. The yellow text highlights digital messages in a text message or email, while the blue text highlights messages left in a fax or note. Okay, I'm gonna screenshot that. so I can definitely remember it. The orange text, however, emphasizes something else. I'll explain to you later when we see it. You won't remember it all if I say too much right now. In the end, you just need to remember that orange text is extremely important. Now, to make sure that you didn't just make a lucky guess earlier, we're going to have another quiz. Which of the following phrases were highlighted in orange text in my previous dialogue, and what is their correct order? Wait, can I save? I think it was this? Oh boy, I think it's the second one? I don't remember anything either, Apple, help me. Okay, I got it right. Whew, thank goodness. Looks like you've truly mastered what I've taught you so far. You're truly my master. Aside from the orange text, in normal mode, you will also notice a lot of red text. If you read those words very carefully, you might find some clues that could help you solve the puzzles. In normal mode, such clues will be highlighted in red. They might help with your deductions. Okay. If you ever find yourself stuck in a puzzle with no idea how to proceed, pay special attention to red text, and you'll surely be able to make progress. Okay. Yeah, I decided to play on normal, so... Alright. Seems like you should do just fine now. And I can take it easy too, then. I believe as you go along with your tasks, you'll eventually make the right decisions. Yeah. You're right. Besides, I can see that you've already made a choice. A choice? Yes, I told you at the beginning that handling the prayers from the humans is our job. However, whether to help them or not, and how exactly you want to change their fates, is completely up to you. I see that you've chosen an S ending for them all. That means you're choosing the path of absolute kindness. Well, they were asking me for help, so of course I should help them. What's the alternative? That I should torture them instead? Not necessarily. I just want to remind you that the path of an absolute kindness is not an easy one. Especially when you receive letters from two different people, you'll have to make the endings for both sides an S. Simply achieving an S ending for one of them won't be good enough. In other words, you'll have to solve two people's problems at the same time. Okay. I see. Well, I'm sure I can find a way. Okay then. By the way, I suppose you don't remember your own name either. Your name is Myth. Myth? You're a god who can manipulate people's fates through stories and puzzles. That's why they call you Myth. You might not know this yet, but you're actually quite popular in the human world. Some of the urban legends that have been circulating are stories about you. No! Apple, I'm not going to be evil. I don't want to be evil. I want to help them. I'd feel bad. I'd feel bad if I gave them bad endings. Wow, I didn't know I was so impressive. Even though I seem to have forgotten a lot of things, and I'm still adapting trying to learn, I do feel like helping people, and that makes me happy. If I work very hard, could I possibly grant wishes to everyone in the world? Everyone? Well, you'd be buried by all of their letters first. However, if you try your best, you should be able to shape the world a little closer to your liking at the very least. Why couldn't we have gotten a cool name? Myth's a cool name. I like it. It's pretty. Got it. I'll try my best. Well, from now on, let me know if you have any questions. After all, it's just the two of us here. An intro movie. Is the audio too quiet? Wait. Hold on. The guy with the ponytail was really cute. I really like these character designs. Wait! The depressed guy's really cute too. Hold on. A lot of those character designs were really cute. Let me see what kind of letters we're getting today. Yeah, let's... Oh, 4 of them, wow.
为什么会这样？
There's gotta be one character that's a complete a-hole. I mean, probably, given how many of them there are.
Porque siempre me pasa esto.
부처님, 나도 좀 도와줘요.
That's a lot of new letters. Oh, we can look at his profile now. I'm glad we saved him. Yeah, he's really handsome. Okay, let's see. More characters. Let's do a new character. Oh, these two happen at the same time. It's probably the cat. No! The cat's probably nice. I like the cat. Although I'm just a cat person, so that just could be me. Which one do we do next? I guess we could start with one of these. Let's do this one. Oh. Okay, I guess we're doing both of these. My name is Chang Yeon Min, and I recently graduated from the Korean Police Academy. I'm 23 years old. It was my first day reporting to the Busan Police Precinct. I hadn't realized that I'd overslept until my Sir's body alarm clock had gone off for the 10th time. I jumped out of bed, slipping into my pants and shirt, and rushed out the door with my coat in my hand. I even knocked over my neighbor's flowers by accident. Sorry. I'll clean it up later. I'm running late. Still, I was 45 minutes late when I finally got to the station. The captain was sitting behind the desk. He squeezed a "kids these days" out of his mouth, then he seemed to lose any energy or interest to even speak to me. Then I was transferred to the archives. Let's see. So this is how you look at the dictionary entries. As computers and the internet become prevalent in our daily lives, important data such as identity and residence information have all been turned into electronic records in a police database. The ability to quickly retrieve necessary information from an infinite ocean of data is a crucial quality of being a responsible police officer, especially when dealing with time-sensitive criminal cases. P.S. Do not stick your password under the desk. Okay. Oops. Let's see. How can I have overslept on my first day? Please, please help me fix this. Please, please. Becoming a member of the Criminal Investigation Department has been my dream since childhood. I don't want to go to the archives. What is criminal investigation? Is that much better than archives? Well, criminal investigation is the place where the police try to solve crimes, or to solve cases and catch bad guys. But you can't completely disregard the archives either. Let's see. Chang Yeon Min. Okay. Responsible and a police officer, you asking a bit much? You're right. You're right. ACAB, baby! What's this other letter? My name is Carlos. I'm 18 years old. It was a big day. because I was finally going to leave Mexico. Archives is a respectable division. Yeah. But I mean, I guess we should help him anyway. Uncle Depp, who had always helped him out at the orphanage, and Auntie Benita, who was the matron of the orphanage, used to tell me that if I ever wanted to go to a foreign country, I would need to have a passport first. And then I would need a visa. Finally, I could go to the airport and buy a ticket. Then I could fly wherever I wanted to go. I got my passport, and apparently going to Hong Kong didn't require a visa. All I needed was a plane ticket. Uncle Depp and I headed out early, before the sun even came out. He had been driving me through the mountains for 6 hours to get to the international airport. He then stuffed a couple of warm burritos wrapped in paper into my backpack before I said goodbye. I didn't know when I would ever see him again. I already missed him. I walked into the airport and I couldn't help slowing down in admiration. This place was so big. No wonder the tickets were so expensive. I needed to ask someone to tell me where I could buy a ticket. I bumped into another man. The 3 boxes he was carrying all fell to the ground. I helped him pick up the boxes and stack them. I hope nothing inside got broken. The man was wearing a pair of glasses with golden frames. He seemed like a nice person. He took the boxes out of my hands and was not mad at me at all. He just nodded and walked away. He was really nice. Even though there were signs in the airport, I couldn't read many of them. I walked around twice before I found the ticket counters. The ticket cost over 10,000 pesos, just like Uncle Depp had told me. I had all my savings with me, including the money my parents and sister had left me, as well as what I had earned doing part-time jobs. Okay. It was only a little over 2,000 pesos altogether. However, something terrible had happened. Oh, he got pickpocketed, didn't he? I couldn't find my wallet. Yeah, I clearly remembered checking to make sure that I had it when I left. Maybe I dropped it on Uncle Depp's car? I ran outside the airport. I saw the man that I had bumped into earlier. He was still wandering around with those 3 boxes. Was he lost? But I didn't have time to worry about him. I had to go check to see if Uncle Depp had already left. I couldn't find him anywhere outside the airport. He probably had headed back. I had to walk towards the mountains along the road that we had arrived on. I had my backpack on, feeling awful. It wasn't a popular road, and it was already too late. There were no other cars in sight. I hoped that I could get a ride tomorrow morning. Lord, why was I so unlucky? It wasn't luck, you just got pickpocketed. What is Mexico? It's a big country in the west. West? To our west? Do we live in the east? No, of course not. We don't live in their world, so there is no east or west to anywhere. Earth is a round planet, so east or west is all relative. Relative? You're not making any sense. Do you mean that the Mexican people would say that their own country is in the west too? Now she's confusing me too. Oh, by the way, the writers of the earlier letters, are they from China? I always feel a strange sense of closeness when I think of China. Mexico feels more distant to me. Why is that? I guess more people write to us from China, maybe? I heard that Chinese people are all over the earth. There are a lot of them in every country. Really? So is this letter written in Chinese too? As well as the earlier ones? Because they all look the same to me. Oh, no, this is our language. In fact, the people who wrote to us came from many different countries, and they would use different languages. But once we received them, they're all automatically translated into a language that we can understand. That's convenient. Oh, wow. Being a god is so convenient. Yeah. It must be. Carlos. Okay. So we have to keep him from getting pickpocketed. How does that relate to the, police officer? We can only move the one. $20,000 pesos is not a lot, really. I'm bad with currency. About how much is that then? I noticed that there was a sign ahead. Although I couldn't read it, I had a feeling that it must be pointing to the ticket counters. I had always had great instincts. Ticket cost over 10,000 pesos, just like Uncle Def had told me. I had all of my savings with me, including the money my parents and sisters had left me, as well as what I had earned doing part-time jobs. It's about... Okay. I see. Yeah, that's not a lot if you're going to a new country, huh? Especially if a plane ticket's about half of that. Wow. Let's see. It was only a little over 20,000 pesos altogether. I had hoped I would be able to come back someday. 3 hours later, with a booming noise, the airplane took off. I felt something suddenly pushing me into the seat cushion. I could see Mexico City becoming smaller and smaller outside the window. And the orphanage in Untitled had turned into a small white dot. Oh, you'll have to forgive my pronunciation. I suddenly started to feel nervous. My mind was racing. What if the plane went down? I hoped it would fall in the ocean so I could still swim back. But the seatbelt thing was so annoying. If I couldn't untie it, would I be dragged into the water with the plane? I heard there was something called insurance that would pay a lot of money if someone died. I should get that. Maybe it would be enough for Alicia to buy a new house in Mexico City. Just when my brain was spinning with all these questions, a beautiful lady asked if I would like some water. Oh, no. Checked my wallet again. There was only a little over 10,000 pesos left. From now on, I must be careful about spending every single one of them. I heard everything was really expensive in Hong Kong. I must save up before I find Alicia. Alicia? Sister? I'm coming to find you. Okay. The Lord will bless us, so he's going to look for his sister. Good for him. I heard the voice of a woman screaming in the crowd. Stop him! He's got my purse! I looked down, and the man I bumped into was holding a woman's purse. He actually tried pushing me away. As a policeman defending justice, how could I let a criminal escape the judgment of the law? I grabbed his collar. Take this! Took the bastard to the police station. I ended up late, of course, but the captain let me off the hook for stopping the robber. Captain Gong glanced at the bloodstains on my shirt, gave a faint smile, and asked me why I wanted to become a police officer. I stood up straight, put my hands behind my back, held my head high, and replied firmly, "To defend justice." The captain scratched his balding head and smiled. Go and report to Unit 4. What? Unit 4? I felt my heart start to sink. I'd heard so many rumors about Unit 4, even when I was still in the police academy. Well, it can't be that bad if it got us a rank S. Let's see. Oh, we have his picture. Aw, he's cute. So his sister's older than him. Okay. And this guy's profile isn't unlocked yet. Let's do the other new person first. Looks like we have to do them together, huh? My name is Jimmy, and today was my first day at Yingnan High School as a senior. I flew from Hong Kong to Beijing only a few days ago. On my first night, my suitcase, which held my laptop, still hadn't arrived at the hotel. I was bored out of my mind and decided to go down to the arcade to kill some time. There, I saw a girl with long hair. She'd come to the arcade with a basket of tennis balls, and she was sweating from head to toe. She wanted to get the Sir Spotty doll from the claw machine. I wanted to get it too, but earlier there had been a couple hogging the machine for a long time. Throughout my childhood, my father would always buy me anything I wanted. It was usually Game Boys, computers, and stuff like that, nothing outrageous. So I never really understood the feeling of wanting something so badly, but not being able to get it. I looked at her from a distance. I watched her fail and keep trying, over and over again. Her expression looked so funny and so cute. I felt a strange urge. I'd gone to an all-boys school in Hong Kong, and I also wasn't someone who liked to go out that much. I had never really met very many girls, and I had never learned how to pick up girls. But today felt different. I really thought she was extremely cute, and I had a special feeling about her that I didn't really understand myself. I didn't want to miss the chance of getting to know her. I mustered all my courage and decided to get her attention. I wrote down my email address on a piece of paper. Then I bought a drink and quietly left the cup on the counter of the claw machine with the note under the cup. Now I just needed to wait for her response. Oh, he was the one who left the cup. The first night, I didn't get an email. It must have been too late. She would write me back the next day, I thought. The second day, all I got was junk mail. The third day... Maybe she had lost the note by accident? Maybe she'd washed it in her laundry. Maybe I could find out what her email address was instead? All I needed to do was hack into the cashier's system of the arcade. Wait, hold on, now you're getting creepy. I could get information on all of the customers who had paid for tokens using mobile banking. And I could get more than just their email addresses, like their real addresses and bank accounts. So I did it. I mustered all my courage once again and wrote her an email. Yet, maybe she didn't really use her email? I told my father that I wanted to transfer to this school. It didn't really matter to him, and the school happened to be quite good too, so he agreed almost immediately. If he'd known the truth, he would have slapped me in the face and called me a disgrace. I'd also found out that she liked playing tennis. So of course I bought myself a racket immediately. This guy's really creepy. I even finished reading all 42 volumes of the manga series, The Kid of Tennis. Don't be afraid to be offended. No! I'm gonna be nice. I want to help these people. I want to help them. Enjoy your food. But I would never have thought that I would get the chance to partner with her in a doubles match on my first day at the new school. I'd also never realized that, well, everything in the manga was a lie. The only time I even touched the ball, it hit the referee. Oh crap, I suck so bad. She must hate me now. We ended up in a tiebreaker for the match. I'd read about this in the manga. Basically, it was a quick way to decide the winner when both sides had been evenly matched. If it wasn't for me, she would have already won easily. The ball was coming again. It was a fast one. It was flying towards my right side. I was so nervous that my hand was shaking uncontrollably. I tried my best to hold the racket as steady as I could. I took a step to the right. I rushed forward. I took a step to the right almost out of instinct, but I still let the ball pass. Even if I tried to hit the ball, it would never go in. From behind me, I heard her hitting the ball. Good job. But before I could finish my thought, I felt a sudden shock of numbness and pain from the back of my head. I completely blacked out. I was in the infirmary when I woke up. It was already noon. I looked around. There was no one else in the room but the school nurse. Oh, Jimmy, what did you think was going to happen? I mean, that's what you get for being a creep. This problem was so difficult. I stared at the test, and it looked like some kind of ancient curse, torturing my fragile mind. A box of chocolate milk suddenly appeared on my desk. My favorite. I opened it up and started drinking it. It was delicious. Li Wen, what are you doing during an exam? A thud. Miss Yang pounded her fist on my desk. My eyes went wide. There was no test, no Miss Yang, not even my favorite drink, chocolate milk. I was laying in my own bed, still wearing the t-shirt I had put on for tennis last night. How had I fallen asleep like this? Suddenly, I remembered that I had found some strange things at my door last night. I carefully opened the door and looked outside. There was nothing. Was it all just a dream? In any case, what time was it? I checked the clock on the wall. It was 9:10. I rushed to school as fast as possible. The second period had just begun. It was tennis class today. Our school is famous for its emphasis on so-called quality education, which meant that unlike other schools, we had classes in stuff like tennis, art, and so on, even for the senior students, so they could get some exercise and release some of the stress from schoolwork. That sounds good. Not many seniors enrolled in these classes, though. Everyone had bet their whole lives on the upcoming Gaokao? What's that? Oh, the National Higher Education Entrance Examination. Okay. Oh, wow. That's a long dictionary entry. Okay. So it's an entrance exam for college, basically, right? Okay. Alright. So it's just a big exam. Oops. However, I still have no idea what I wanted to do in the future. Nor what major I would be interested in. I suppose I would just go with the flow. I carried the racket under my arm and ran onto the tennis court. Usually I would just do some hitting and practice during the class, but today, I was here with a purpose. Last time, I'd accidentally hit that knucklehead Rocky from Class 3 when I'd been practicing my swerve. He insisted that I had done it on purpose and challenged me to a match to settle the score. What kind of obsessive, obnoxious man was this? Well, today was the day of our duel. I had agreed to his proposal, with 30 boxes of chocolate milk as the wager. My favorite. We'd play a doubles match for one set, and we got to pick a partner for the opponent. I picked Wang Qiang as Rocky's partner first. I'm really not good with Chinese pronunciation. I know the Q is like a CH sound. He was probably the weakest out of all the people present today. My darling chocolate milk, here I come. Rocky pointed to someone behind me. You'll partner with him, then. I turned around. I saw someone who was looking petrified. Someone whom I'd never even met. The stranger introduced himself as Jimmy. He said he had just transferred from Hong Kong today. Huh. Transfer student the last semester of senior year. From Hong Kong, no less. That was peculiar. Never mind. I needed to win my chocolate milk first. Since he had enrolled in the class, he could be really good. Maybe this would be my lucky day. Just one game later, I realized I'd been kidding myself. That sneaky Rocky. He must have known that this guy didn't know how to play at all. Wang Qiang might only be a 2.0, but that would make Jimmy a 0.2. He barely even knew how to hold a racket. No matter. For my precious chocolate milk, I would have to do it alone. Half an hour later, we were at the tiebreaker. The score was 7-8, their match point. If I could win this next point, I still had a chance. Otherwise, I would have to go buy the chocolate milk myself at a 7-Eleven. I was standing on the right side at the back. My hat was soaking wet and sweat was dripping down with my ponytail onto my t-shirt. Jimmy was standing on the left side at the net, and I could see he was sweating through the back of his t-shirt too. Here came the ball. It was aimed at the center of the back court to my left. I squeezed the racket in my right hand. A sudden twist of my ankle. Swing. I fell to the ground and completely mishit the ball. Even worse, it went straight to the back of Jimmy's head. Jimmy fainted. Oh no, did I just give him a concussion? But I clearly remembered that he was standing much further left, wasn't he? Li Wen. Okay. Let's see. I wonder what the best move here is. I wonder if he twists his ankle, he'll fall and it'll miss him or something. Or I guess we have to make him look good, maybe. I guess I can make him look cool? Let's see. I wonder how good this will be. I hardly did something wrong. I swung my racket with my eyes closed. The ball flew over the baseline. It was out. I did overestimate myself. No! The match was over. Ah, she must be mad at me now. Jimmy took a swing at the ball. The ball flew out of the baseline. Out. 7-9. We lost. I lost. My precious 30 boxes of chocolate milk. Bad! That's not even a grade. Okay, hold on. Let me retry that. Let's see, what if I just take him out? Oh no. Much further left. Ugh. Let's see. The ball flew past me. I expected to hear her hitting the ball, but I heard nothing. I turned around and saw her sitting on the ground, hunched over. Did she just get hit by the ball? People are already gathering around. Someone mentioned the infirmary. I suppose someone would take her there any moment now. Honestly, I wish that someone could be me. Our teacher walked over. You, take her to the infirmary. Wait, he was speaking to me? Oh gosh, the goddess of fortune must have heard my wish. And the ball was to my left, but I was stumbling to my right. Not only did I not hit the ball, I even lost my racket. For some reason, my stomach suddenly started hurting. Why? Was it because I hadn't had time for breakfast this morning? 7-9. We lost. I lost. I took 2 pills in the infirmary and felt a little better. I lay down on the bed. Everything around me was white, and it made me feel sleepy. And Jimmy said he wanted to keep me company, so he was sitting beside my bed. I thought maybe I should talk to him a little so that it would feel less awkward. However, I think I was too exhausted and I fell asleep. Ah, dang. Hmm. What can I do here? Maybe if I cause him to trip while he's going for it or something? Or, maybe if I put everything on his side? Or maybe rushing forward first. Nope. accidentally closed out of it. Endings that you've unlocked. All the possible endings to a letter. The ending with this one small eye is the one you're currently viewing. Okay. Help with my deductions. Okay, let me... Let's see. What haven't I tried yet? Okay. Let's see. This is hard. We need her to hit the ball and him to not do anything. Or maybe if he doesn't rush forward. What haven't I tried yet? So we have to avoid hitting him. Oh, what got the, That was the A, but we need an S. So... He twists his ankle, he doesn't step to the right. Maybe... I took a swing at the ball, but I almost tripped. I take another step to stop myself from falling over. The tennis ball flew over the net, kissed the baseline, compressed, and bounced up. And then it was struck in the wired fence around the court. Yay! Match point saved! Rocky was such a sneaky bastard. Jimmy barely able to move, he was now aiming every ball at him. But Jimmy was able to get out of my way almost every time, even with a twisted ankle. We were coordinating surprisingly well. After a while, Wang Qiang was left standing there too. The game had become a singles match between Rocky and me. Maybe Jimmy was a lucky charm, because we eventually won the game 15-13. What a great partner. I'd won my chocolate milk. Hooray! I fell to the ground and my ankle hurt like hell. Fortunately, we still won the point thanks to her. Now our opponents were hitting the ball towards me almost exclusively, but Li Wen wasn't too good. And eventually we won. More importantly, she ran over and high-fived me. Oh, his jacket's cute. I wasn't just daydreaming about this. She really did just give me a high five. Her hand felt so warm. I would never forget that moment. Okay. That took a couple tries. Oh, new letter.
Porque siempre me pasa esto.
3 new
太
letters.
像，他不可去。
Kidnapping.
如果时间可以重来，
Strange teacher. Oh wait, we have a picture of him now. Let's see. Religion, the goddess of fortune. That's a little on the nose, huh? Okay. Let's go ahead and do these two. The office wing of Criminal Investigation Unit 4 looked like a small warehouse that hadn't been organized in forever. It was crowded and messy in the first place. Then, almost every desk had stacks of files that were at least 20 centimeters tall, as well as all kinds of evidence and other random items. I stood up straight and gave a salute. The Chang Yongmin, reporting for duty at Unit 4. And there were only 2 other people there besides me. One of them was wiping down his rifle. He looked at me with a strange, examining look on his face. Wait, why do you have a rifle? Hold on. And the other one had dark circles around his eyes, which made him look like he hadn't slept for days. He was looking over some files. Judging from his seat, this must be the infamous lieutenant of Unit 4, Kangbak-ya? Is that how you pronounce that? Lieutenant Kang gave me a glance, with a half-smoked cigarette in his mouth. Then he mumbled, "You, over there." I followed the direction of his look and saw the desk that he seemed to be referring to. Many old bags from McRonald's. Okay. Were stacked on top of it, all filled with leftovers and trash. It was also directly opposite the bathroom, facing it. It was okay, as long as I had somewhere to sit. I was about to ask Lieutenant Kang? I don't know how to pronounce that. What I should do next when the phone on his desk rang. He took the call, put down the phone, and announced to us that there was a gang-related hostage situation 2 blocks from the station. I never thought my opportunity to defend justice would arrive so soon. Lieutenant Kang put out his cigarette in an ashtray and stood up. I followed him. He grabbed his coat and asked, "Hey, new guy, have you got your gun?" "My gun? No, not yet." "Then where do you think you're going? Stay by the phone. Take notes if anything comes up. Don't speak too much." I can still help without a gun. As a policeman, I swore to defend justice, to prevent all offenses against people and property. Justice? Lieutenant Kang burst into laughter before I could finish my sentence. You think justice is going to block a bullet from hitting you? Well, kid, I've seen plenty of idiots like you. In my unit, there's only one rule you need to remember at all times, which is to follow the orders. Huh? That wasn't what I meant at all. I was just trying to help. First day on the job and I was already having such a misunderstanding with my lieutenant. But before I could explain myself, Lieutenant Kang continued. If you have a problem with staying by the phone, you can just go home, and don't bother coming back tomorrow either. I'll let the old man know. After they left, I sat down at my seat opposite the bathroom. My nose was catching glimpses of the faint smell. I let out a defeated sigh. When I'd been in the police academy, people would always have an understanding smile on their face whenever Unit 4 was brought up. Everyone had heard all sorts of rumors about this place. Let's see. Lieutenant Kang was the infamous dictator of the Criminal Investigation Department. Everyone was follow his orders without question. He had a peculiar personality and was extremely rough, even cruel with the criminals. Besides, Lieutenant Kang was a lot younger than the other unit's lieutenants. Therefore, many people speculated that Lieutenant Kang had only gotten his position because of nepotism. As a result, no rookies ever wanted to join Unit 4. As for the unit that everyone dreamt of getting into, that would have to be Unit 1. Unit 1 had over 30 officers, and it was widely considered to be the best unit in the department. Yet, here I was, assigned to Unit 4. I was sulking when the phone rang again. There was another hostage case in Bapyeongdong. Since no Unit 4 was available, I suppose this was my time to shine. No, don't do that. I hurried the scene in 10 minutes. It was a 10-story apartment building. I could vaguely see 2 people on the ledge of the rooftop. Oh, geez. And people told me that they were a married couple. The husband had borrowed too much money from loan sharks and couldn't pay them back. That was why he wanted to jump off the building, and he had forced his wife up there with him. Well, let's see how I, Chang Kyung-min, would brilliantly solve this crisis. And one of his feet was already at the edge of the ledge. He was holding a knife against the frightened wife's neck. This is not a good first case. Come on. I walked over there. Stop. I'm telling you to stop. He got riled up, and his right foot missed the ledge. He fell over the edge and dragged his wife with him. Wait, no! Before I even had the chance to talk him down, both of them disappeared out of my sight. It was a terrible scene at the bottom of the building. Even though I was 10 floors above the ground, I felt like I could still smell the blood. It almost made me sick. I stood there in shock. For the first time, I finally recognized what it felt like to be a real policeman. Oh God. What the hell have I done? Yeah, good question. Could I be any more stupid? At least you know. Please, Buddha. Please let me have another chance. Please. At least he knows he was stupid. And the other one is with Carlos, right? Hong Kong was different than what I had imagined. Back home in Mexico, everything was so colorful. But Hong Kong was just gray. Gray streets, gray buildings, gray store signs, and gray homeless people. And there was me, sitting in the middle of them, looking odd. I never knew that pesos can be exchanged into Hong Kong dollars here. When I woke up, I found a few more coins by my feet. I had to take them. I must survive this poor guy. None of the homeless people seemed to like me very much, perhaps because they could only get about half as many coins as I. I had a big sister named Alicia. She was 9 years older than me. Is it Alicia or Alicia? We both grew up in an orphanage in Monte Toloc. It was a rural place. You had to travel 4 kilometers to get to the nearest town, Coatepec, just to make a phone call. God, my pronunciation is probably horrible. I couldn't remember anything about my own parents. My big sister was the only person I had in this world. 9 years ago, Alicia had left Mexico to make more money. She used to write me letters every few months. Every time the mailman came, I'd be so excited to see if there was an envelope with my name on it. Even though I couldn't read much, Auntie Benita would always read them to me. Alicia didn't seem to have the easiest time, but she'd seen so much of the outside world. And by reading her letters, I felt like I got to see what Alicia had seen as well. I could almost feel like I was right there with her in the big, new, interesting, and fascinating world that we had never seen before. However, we'd stopped hearing from her about a year ago. Her last letter had come from Hong Kong. So I'd asked Uncle Depp to find a tutor for me who could teach me how to read and speak a little of the local language. I'd worked so hard to make more money for the trip. I'd done all of this just so I could come to Hong Kong, even though I wasn't sure if she was still in the city. Still, even if there was just the tiniest hope, I would never give up. I knew I had to find my sister and make sure that she was okay. I'd arrived at Pitt Street. Pitt Street had been on the postmark of Alicia's last letter. Maybe someone nearby might have seen her. Before I left, Auntie Benita had given me an old cell phone. I pulled up a picture of Alicia on the phone. I held up the phone, asking people door to door if they had seen my sister. I couldn't tell if they simply couldn't understand me. They would wave their hand at me every time before I had barely spoken. Almost halfway through the street, I found myself behind a huge crowd of people. Thick, dark smoke was coming out of the building nearby. People were shoving and running out of it. More and more people started to gather on the street. Many of them were even taking pictures with their phones. The fire truck finally arrived. My cell phone suddenly rang. My cell phone fell to the ground. My cell phone was vibrating on the ground, then it fell through the storm drain. No! The sewer water was flowing rapidly in the drain. I held onto the drain and tried my best to look down. Maybe the phone was stuck somewhere. I looked for a long time and even tried to reach in with my hand, but I couldn't get it. I was so tired, disappointed, and desperate. I couldn't pretend anymore. I fell to the ground, feeling like shit. That cell phone was the most valuable thing I had. It had the only picture of my sister on it. Lord, please help me. I really didn't know if I could ever find my big sister without it. Carlos. Let's see. I wonder if this one's going to be deceptively easy. This should work, right? Hopefully? I tried to talk some sense into him. I told him that one could always earn back the money. I said he still had his wife's full support, so he shouldn't give up just yet. I even tried asking him if he would like some dulcet bibimbap for dinner, but none of the techniques I had learned from the academy worked. The standoff kept going. The wife was clearly physically exhausted, and she looked like she was mentally drained, too. Honey, if you really want to die so much, let me go with you then. I hope we can both be happy in our next life. No! She grabbed the knife on her neck and cut her own throat open. Blood was gushing out. Then she collapsed onto the ground that had been colored red by her own blood. The man's face was covered with blood. He seemed to have lost the ability to talk. He slowly knelt down and took the knife out of the woman's— This is horrible! It looked like he had completely lost his mind. I couldn't let it happen a second time. I sprinted ahead a few steps and kicked the knife out of his hand. I pinned the man down on the ground. He looked at his wife's body, which was only half a meter away and slowly losing its warmth. Then he wept. Neither of us had expected the situation to turn out like that. I was suspended due to the serious consequences caused by my reckless, unauthorized actions. Well, yeah, of course you would be. And the fire trucks hadn't arrived yet. There was total chaos in front of the burning building. More and more injured people were being carried out of the building. A man in a black trench coat seemed to have summoned a lot of people to help put out the fire. I wasn't injured and I had all my limbs. I thought I should go help too. I walked towards the man. Excuse me, I would like to... A huge man in a black suit appeared in front of me and blocked my sight. This new guy seemed to be twice my size. He looked down upon me and I could see a deep scar on his face. Help. I swallowed anxiously and had no idea what to say next. The suit guy held up his hand and pointed somewhere behind me. A truck full of fire extinguishers had just arrived. The fire was finally put out by sunset. I sat on the stairs at the bottom of the building, exhausted. I was covered with dust and ash from head to toe. All the injured people had been sent to the hospital. The man leading the team had already left. My stomach began rumbling. Man, if only I could get a free meal for helping to put out a fire. Rank B and bad. Okay. Let's see. Will this do anything? Someone quickly ran past me and bumped into my arm. My phone was knocked out of my hand, stopped at another man's feet. The fire trucks hadn't arrived yet. However, this man in a black trench coat seemed to have summoned a lot of people to help put out the fire. He picked up my phone with his left hand. It was ringing with a joyful ringtone, and a little cartoon lamb was dancing happily on the screen. The man tossed my phone back to me, and I lost myself in the melody of Little Lamb Billy. It was Alicia's favorite song, and she used to sing it to me all the time. But I didn't realize I had forgotten to answer the phone until it stopped ringing. I called back, and it was Auntie Benita. She was calling from a convenience store in Coatepec, and she wanted to check if I had any news about my sister. She told me to let her know as soon as I found her. Besides Alicia, Auntie Benita really was the kindest person I had ever met. Once I got a real job and became rich, I promised I would take care of her in the orphanage. I left the crowd and walked to the next street, asking the pedestrians about Alicia. Let's see. Well, that's a rank A. But it's still bad for this guy. Let's see. I wonder if this guy's cell phone, the ringing, will do anything. The phone kept ringing. Who the hell would be calling me at this godforsaken moment? I was about to bend over and pick it up. The man suddenly got riled up. He waved the knife at me wildly. Don't move. Don't answer the phone. His wife saw a chance as the knife had left her neck, so she bit his left wrist as hard as she could. He dropped the knife out of pain. Then she ran over and hid behind me before he could pick it back up. The man suddenly began wailing like a child. Sue, even you are abandoning me? Fine, I'll just go by myself. He raised his knife and cut his own throat open. I didn't even have enough time to react. I was suspended. Okay. He should have been suspended just for leaving on his own. It was total chaos in front of the burning building. Fire trucks, firemen, fire hoses. The fire department had taken charge of the situation. I walked up to a fireman nearby and asked if there was anything I could do to help. A foreigner? He asked as he looked at me. You really shouldn't stay here. If we don't put out this fire today, we'll be dying 1,000 deaths. He saw my confused look and added, You're new here. This is the headquarters of the Black Dragon Gang, the most powerful gang in the area. Yes, gang, bad people. They're gangs in your country, right? So stay away from here. Leave, just go get a soda or something. So... Let's see. Maybe this'll work. He turned around and answered the phone quietly. It was from the station. And they told me something important had happened to the unit and I must get back as soon as possible and await further instructions. Huh? That's orange text, right? I hung up the phone and turned around, only to realize that the couple had disappeared from the ledge. Ah. I see. Yeah, that's a bad ending. Let's see, total chaos. Fire department. Anything to do to help? But before I could open my mouth, another fireman quickly ran past me and knocked the phone out of my hand. Another one behind him immediately stepped on the phone. The screen cracked into pieces. Oh no! The fireman next to me picked up the phone for me. Foreigner, you really shouldn't stay here. Okay. If we don't put out this fire today, we'll be dying 1,000 deaths. Take your phone and get out of here. Yeah, that's not a good ending. I can't seem to get it to work no matter how hard I try. Am I too stupid? It's not your fault. Something seems to be tied up over there with King Bakya. Once you solve the problem over there, it might impact this one too. Oh, with the head of the department? Huh? Is that a thing too? Occasionally, we might not be able to solve the current case because of something that's happened somewhere else. Whenever this occurs, you'll see orange text in the letters. Okay, okay. The appearance of orange text typically means that you will need to consult another letter to handle the current one. So basically, if I see orange text in a letter, I should go and check on some other letters first, right? Correct. Sometimes you might need to handle the other letters first. Sometimes it might just mean that you need to look for clues in other letters. In either case, it really depends on the letters, and you'll have to use your own judgment. This doesn't happen too often, but if you do encounter them, make sure you take advantage of the hints in the letters to help you. Got it. I'll go read the letter from King Bakya first. Okay, okay. So I have to do another letter first. Small colored squares. Oh, yes, what are those? The small squares can be of 3 colors, yellow, pink, and gray. Some of them are solid, while some of them are empty. These squares represent all the possible endings for events described in a specific order. The solid ones stand for the endings that you have discovered, while the empty ones are the endings that you have yet to reach. Of the solid squares, the yellow one marks the selected ending that you have chosen at the moment, which means that the yellow square could only be solid and never empty. The solid pink squares, on the other hand, represent the endings that you have discovered but are not selected at the moment. Oh, welcome back, Apple. I mean, the police guy is bad at his job, but what else is new? Pink empty squares are the endings you have not yet discovered yet. Okay. All these squares are strictly arranged in order and can be a helpful reference when you are making your decisions. What about these gray squares? Gray squares may either be solid or empty, but they are less common. Sometimes the development of certain events may be impacted by other people and things. For instance, this incident with Chang Yaomin was affected by the incident on King Bakya's side. That's why there's a gray square here. Okay. A gray square means that under current conditions, the probability of this potential ending happening is 0. Or in layman's terms, it cannot happen. Okay. Once we solve the related pending problem, the squares will no longer be gray, meaning that it is now possible for us to reach this ending. Meanwhile, a previous ending that we have reached will now turn gray instead. Yeah, I'm a little confused too, Myth. I understand it is very confusing when I explain it to you like this. However, I believe once you're done with Chang Yaomin's story, you'll figure out how it works. Got it. I'll give it a shot.
Dios,
Okay.
¿qué hice mal?
So I need to get other people's letters first.
저를 용서해 주소서.
I guess I'll get these two taken care of then. My name is Kang Bakya. I'm a cop. I've been doing this for 7 years. Or is it 8? I can't really remember. Today, the old man assigned another newbie to my unit. He'd always wanted my unit to become as big as Unit 1. Why did I need so many people? Detective work wasn't like street fighting. I had a headache whenever I pictured the image of so many people in the unit, passing their lunches over their heads during lunch break. And this newbie today was full of that kind of fighting for justice crap. Lunatic. Well, it certainly is getting him into trouble. 2 cops, oh no, yeah. Not looking good here. Well, screw it. Whatever. I was just going to wait for a few days. Then I would find an excuse to send him over to Unit 1. Everyone would be happy then. We were always very busy. The files for the open cases had been stacking up on desks, starting to resemble small hills. Among the police precincts in the entire Republic of Korea, Busan might be one of the top 5 busiest precincts thanks to violent gangs in the area. The Musun gang and the Bongmon gang. These 2 gangs never made our lives easy. Drugs and arms trafficking. And let's see, prostitution and gambling. Jeez. Okay. Who needs justice? I mean, we need justice. It's just the cops are bad at it. Recently, the old boss of the Musun gang had been severely ill. His underlings were all itching to become the successor. There were at least a dozen people killed in the infighting every day. If I kept saving up my vacation days like this, I would probably have enough time to plan for my next trip to be to the moon. The case today was an annoying one, too. It was a hostage case, but the kidnapper and hostages belonged to the same gang. It was a so-called family matter. What was worse was that the kidnapper was someone quite important in the Musun gang. The old man always told us to keep things easy as to avoid a direct confrontation with the gangs. He told me again today, multiple times, to bring the kidnapper in without hurting anyone. Without hurting anyone? If he had really wanted that, he would not have assigned this case to me. Okay. So this guy's edgy. I was crawling in a narrow air vent duct. I could hear breathing sounds all around me, both loud and quiet, as well as the sound of the fans. The air smelled disgusting. I loosened my collar a little. Fuck this. I'd rather climb up from the outside of the building with my bare hands than suffocate inside this goddamn tube. Why couldn't I just walk in from the door and pop 2 shots into his head? No! No! We're not killing anyone! I had finally arrived at the top of the room. The voices coming from below sounded very weird through the vent. You stay there, and don't fucking move. All of you, don't move. The target was sitting on a couch at the other end of the room. He kept waving the gun in his hand around, and pointed it at the other one's heads every once in a while. Those poor bastards were all his underlings. None of them even dared to look up. I'd seen lots of junkies that would get so high that they wouldn't even recognize their own mother. Still, the scene below me was so unusually funny that I almost chuckled. The area below the vent was right in the view of the bay window. Anyone could easily see inside the room from across the street through that window. My task today was to lure him over. I got closer to the vent, trying to observe the situation more closely. Clang. A loud noise came from somewhere. Don't move, I heard a man's voice. A bullet flew out without me seeing it. The nails fastening the vent register had been shattered by the bullet, and it bounced off a few meters away into a corner. After a tumble and a half, I fell and smashed into the white carpet, along with the vent register. Oh no. 5 meters away, the junkie was holding his gun with a shocked expression on his face, and smoke was still coming out of the dark, shaking barrel. Near my shoulder, my shirt had turned from its original red to another kind of red, and the colored patch kept getting larger. You let yourself get hurt again, idiot. A voice that I couldn't be more familiar with appeared in my head once again, while also sounding like it was coming from out of this world. Oh, crap. I had come back to this room again. The room was extremely dark. There was no furniture inside except for a light bulb hanging from the center of the ceiling. A slightly shorter person walked out from the dark corner reluctantly. His hair was all messed up, and his eyes didn't even look alive. As soon as he pushed me away from underneath the light, a mysterious force dragged me into a corner. I was swallowed up by darkness. Whenever I was in danger, this guy would come out against my will. But at a moment like this? Well, shit. What a shitty day. Whoever stood under the light would have control of the body. Oh, okay. So it's, like, a multiple personality type thing? From this moment on, I was no longer in command of my own body. I managed to dodge all the flying bullets coming towards me with extreme agility and inhuman postures. When I got back on my feet, I somehow had a gun in my hand. The 13 9mm bullets in the magazine were fired like a machine gun. Each one of them went through his head. Broken eyeballs splashed all over the barely recognizable face of the junkie. Everything was a terrible mess. The junkie had collapsed to the floor like a pile of mud, but now the gun was aimed at his henchmen that were still all tied up. Things were taking an ugly turn. 1 bullet, 1 life, no waste. But I hesitated when the gun pointed at a muscular guy with the tattooed head. The muscular guy suddenly swept me at my ankle with its leg. I lost my balance, knocked my head on a short table, and passed out. When I woke up, I was lying in the hospital with tubes coming out all over my body. Minjun was sitting next to me, sound asleep. I hate deaths. As per usual, I had to write 1,000 words for each death in the report, which meant I needed to write 8,000 words. Moreover, the target this time was not just a regular punk. His father was the leader of Gangwon group within the Musum gang, Choi Yohan. That would mean another 4,000 words at least. Gosh, my head hurts so bad. Sweet Jesus, give me a break, please. Wow. It's almost like I was watching an action movie. If only I had some popcorn. Don't ruin the solemn mood by suddenly thinking about popcorn. I mean, a lot just happened there. I can't blame her. Okay, sorry. There's no popcorn here, but we do have osmanthus cakes. Oh, that's great too. I'm not very picky. So, if I want to eat cakes while watching a movie... Oh, no, I mean while working. Is there any way I could do it hands-free? These letters are not like the regular letters that I can just read in front of me. I have to follow the thoughts of the writer by confirming it sentence by sentence. Stupid lazy girl. Although, there is indeed a way. If you want to free your hands to eat or do something else, all you need to do is press X. Then the letters will enter autoplay mode. Okay. That's handy. Furthermore, if you want to read it faster while you are not eating, you can activate skip text option in the options. Okay. Afterwards, every button press will reveal an entire line of text immediately. All of these tips have been archived inside the help menu, which will be periodically updated as we go along. Okay. If you have any questions, don't forget to check the information there. Got it. Let's see. And there was another letter tied to this one. Oh! It's Carlos's sister. Okay. My name is Alicia. I'm 18 years old. I was born and raised in Mexico. I have a little brother named Carlos who is 9 years younger than me. He's the only family I have left. We're both orphans. The orphanage was so poor that they couldn't afford to send us to school. I had to come out and make some money so that I could keep my brother in school. If I could make enough money, I thought that maybe we could eventually move out of the orphanage and start a new life, just the two of us. I heard that America was a place full of chances for everyone. That was where I should go. A travel agency inside Mexico City had told me that crossing the desert, stowing away on a train, or getting across the Rio Bravo were all very risky and dangerous. Therefore, they had established a route via the ocean. Even though it would be slightly more expensive, it was guaranteed to be safe, and everyone who had taken this route had gotten to America. I spent the money I had saved for months and bought myself a ship ticket. There were several other young girls with me on the ship, and they were locked inside a small room and were not allowed to go out. At first, we thought it was just so that people wouldn't find us being smuggled across the border. It had taken so long, we must have arrived by now. Half a month passed and we were still at sea. We were finally certain that we had been conned. After about a month, the ship finally arrived at a port. We were then moved to a building near the port where guards watched us. Where were we now? Which country was this? Were we going to be sold? As slaves? Or prostitutes? I crouched in the corner with my mind running wild. Every once in a while, a guard would come in and take a sobbing girl out. There were fewer and fewer people left in the room. And finally, there was only me and another girl named Julie left. Julie suddenly stood up and tried to hit the guard at the door facing us. She was holding a rock in her hand, but she didn't succeed. The rock fell to the ground and her arm was grabbed so tightly by the guard that it looked like it was about to snap. She looked at me with a pleading look in her eyes. I really wanted to help her. I didn't want to be sold either. I was too scared. The guard had a gun. Everyone outside had a gun. Julie lowered her head. When she lifted it back up, the guard was screaming like a pig being slaughtered. Half of his missing ear was in Julie's mouth. Then I heard a few gunshots along with loud cursing. Julie fell down and stopped moving. Her eyes were open so wide as if she had just come out of a nightmare. The injured guard slammed the door angrily, with one hand covering his ear. Soon another person came in. This one seemed to be nicer. He had half a bottle of beer with him. He sat down at the door, looked at me, and then looked at Julie, who was lying in her own blood. He didn't seem to care about what had happened at all. An hour later, his bottle was empty and he had fallen asleep in the chair. It was pretty late. Maybe I wouldn't be taken away until tomorrow. I looked at Julie again and remembered what she had told me there, on the ocean. I want to become a singer in America. I want to be a star. She wasn't bragging. She had a really beautiful voice. They aren't pulling their punches with these stories. Yeah, all of these are really dark. She had also said, "I know if I do my best, my dream will come true." I would never forget the look on her face when she said it. Her eyes had been filled with hope and anticipation for the future. I was very jealous of how lively and full of joy Julie was. The guard turned a little in the chair and his gun dropped from his waist, sliding towards my feet. Was it a hint from the Lord? I reached out for the gun, but I jerked my hand back like I had been shocked when I touched it. No, I couldn't. What if I ended up like Julie? I held the cross tight in front of my chest and started praying. Oh, Heavenly Father, Jesus said, "Ask and you shall receive." We trust that you know what our true needs are. You recognize what our true feelings are. You understand what situations we are in. Now we shall ask for what our heart truly desires. Oh God, give heed to my prayer. Show us your mercy. Amen. 5 minutes passed. 10 minutes passed. 30 minutes passed. The guard began snoring. The gun was right next to my hand. Maybe this really had been a hint from the Lord. I finally picked up the gun in hesitation. It felt so heavy in my hand. Mom, Dad, please bless me. Carlos, please bless me. Heavenly Father, please bless me. I pushed the door open. There was no one in the hallway outside. It was so quiet. The only thing I could hear was my own heart beating wildly in my chest. The building owned only one floor. After taking one turn, I could see the main gate. There were several guards at the gate, too. All of them had guns. There was a black man and 2 Asians. The rest of them all had pale skin. How could I get out? With just one handgun? I checked the gun in my hand once again. There were no bullets in the gun. There were no bullets? I collapsed on the floor. I was not feeling afraid anymore. I just felt utter desperation. Soon the guards noticed me and dragged me back into the room. And this time they cuffed up my feet so that I wouldn't be able to escape again. Julie's body was still lying there. Flies began hovering around her face. But they didn't seem to have any intention to clean up the scene. Would I end up like Julie? Was this my final destiny? Heavenly Father, please answer me. Alicia. Jeez. This guy gave you 30 minutes and a gun. The gun doesn't even have any bullets. That's a cruel joke. Let's see. I guess. I wonder what the right order of this is. Let's see. Where were the bullets? Wait, I'd taken out the magazine yesterday while doing maintenance. Must have forgotten to bring it along earlier. Shit, must have been too tired recently. My memory was getting really bad. 20 minutes ago there would have been a bullet, but someone wasted a miracle. Yeah. Let's see. I paged Minjun through radio that there was a change of plan and we all needed to fall back. I heard a loud boom coming through the air duct behind me just as I climbed out of the vent. Only later did I learn that the room with the target had an inexplicable explosion. The investigation afterwards indicated that everyone in the room had been burnt to ashes. There were no survivors. Jeez. I never imagined that forgetting the magazine would turn out to have saved my life. I suppose today wasn't such a shitty day after all. Yeah. A bullet that had come from the door hit me in the stomach. I slowly collapsed to the ground, with my back against the wall. I could feel the warmth slowly leaving my body. No, she died! I'm so sorry. Last thing I saw was some people arguing at the door. They were all strangers. Tears rolled down my face. I'm gonna fix this! I'm gonna fix it! I'm gonna save her! It was true what they said. The people you want to see the most in your last moments would be your own family. Okay, no. Wait, how is that a bad ending for him? He got out unscathed. Okay, hold on. Save the cop, but kill the girl. Yeah, okay, hold on. What if I switch things around? Maybe if I make it so she doesn't get shot. But she's gonna get noticed this way. I accidentally knocked down a ladder that'd been put against the wall. The guard in the room woke up. He stumbled into the hallway, quite sleepy. I suddenly had an idea. Hands up. Don't make a sound or I'll shoot. I pointed the gun at his head. He held his hands up high and began sweating. Walk to the gate slowly. Do not speak to them. Do not lower your hands. Do not turn around. I pressed the gun against the back of his head, and we walked slowly towards the gate. My palms were completely wet with sweat. Only I knew that I was more nervous than he. When we were only a few hundred meters away from the port, I smashed his head with the gun as hard as I could and knocked him out. And then I ran away as fast as possible. I didn't dare look back. There were still plenty of people on the street. Many stores were still open, even in the middle of the night. People were shooting me strange looks when I ran past them. They all seemed to be Asians. But I didn't dare stop and talk to them. Julie had been right about one thing. Dreams did come true when you did your best. I didn't know how long I had run, but I couldn't even take one more step. I collapsed into a bunch of paper boxes stacked at the corner of an alley. Okay, we saved her that time. The bullet hit the vent register. Then it happened to deflect and hit my shoulder. What a wonderful day for me. Blood was streaming down my arm and dripping onto the vent. Then it dropped into the carpet of the room below. Oh, wait, what is this? The target's steps were getting closer. Oh no. Well, now he killed this guy. Then he stopped. I didn't need to look. They're looking at her strange because she's running around with a gun. Yeah, fair enough. But, like, good for her. Effective use of girl power. The bastard must be standing right beneath the vent. Soon he would lift his head, look up, and notice me. And there was the sound of the window glass shattering. Then it was the sound of flesh being destroyed. Mission complete. Everything went as planned. Well, almost. I stood next to the junkie's body, which was missing half of his head. Oh shit. He was supposed to just lose a leg or something. This was a little different from what the old man had demanded. Minjun had just rushed over from the building across the street. He dropped to his knees with a thud as soon as he saw me. I'm sorry, Lieutenant. It was my mistake. I missed. It looked like he hadn't forgotten the last time when he did not follow the plan exactly and had to write a 200,000-word report. If apologizing was good enough, what would we need the cops for then? I checked the junkie's pocket. There was only 50,000 won and half a pack of Marlboros. I stuffed the money into Minjun's pocket and lit a cigarette for myself. How do you miss a leg so badly you get a headshot? Good question. Good question. Well, Choi Do-sung, which was the name of the junkie, was just trash in this society, and he deserved to die. No, this is bad. This is a bad mindset. After witnessing such a bloody ending, maybe his loser buddies would learn to behave a little too. Yeah, maybe it wasn't too bad after all. No, this is bad. This is definitely bad. I touched Minjun's head. Don't worry about it. Well done. How is that the rank S? Hold on. How is that the rank S? You killed a man. That's not rank S. Jeez. Well, you've solved King Bakya's problem, but don't forget about Shang Yeon Min's letter from earlier. Oh right, it almost slipped my mind. Is there anything new in the mailbox? No? Oh, we can look at his profile. I was going to say something, but I won't. I'm not gonna say anything. Yeah. Yeah, this guy deserves to be fired. He's not very good at following directions. Even if he is really attractive. Okay, let's go back to the other guy. Jeez. Okay. Alright. Let's try and fix this. Or wait, what was the which one was this? Oh, just the cell phone ringing? So then... Hold on, you're giving him a whole character arc over there. I mean, he'll have to learn his lesson eventually, because now he's got the, bright-eyed rookie who's all about justice on the team, who's probably gonna be like, no, sir, we can't enact this form of justice, it needs to be fair, or something. I don't know. I have the feeling that that's where this is going. Oops, I accidentally reset. Returns the rookie into a jaded, corrupt cop as well. No! Let's, well, okay, the jaded part is fine, but let's take out the corrupt part. Actually, let's just take out the cop part. That's the best resolution. Let's try this. Who the hell would be calling me at this godforsaken moment? I turned around and answered the phone quietly. It was Lieutenant Kang. Chen briefly asked me about the situation and told me to hand the phone over to the husband. It was the Bungmun gang. What? Is it true? Oh my, that's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. He should go be a firefighter or something cool like a dog walker. Agreed! Yeah. Definitely agreed. He hung up the phone, dropped the knife, and hugged his wife, sobbing uncontrollably. Sue, it's all okay now. We can have our lives back. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. It was all my fault. What just happened? I took my phone back from the man, confused. A strong gust of wind blew past us, and the man lost his balance. I quickly reacted, took a big step forward and grabbed him, trying to pull him back. But I was pulled over instead. We fell off the ledge together. The world was spinning. It was 10 floors off the ground. No one would survive if we hit the ground. I swung my right arm out as hard as I could towards the roof ledge. Something flew out of my coat. It was a white ribbon I had wrapped around my forearm, with a small spearhead tied to it. Hold on. Don't forget to hydrate. Oh, thank you. Yes. I will take a sip of water. Okay. Water has been sipped. Thank you for the reminder. Okay. Back to this dude's handmade grapple hook. Who just DIYs a grapple hook? The spearhead wrapped around the metal bar on the ledge a few times and tightened the ribbon. It was my secret weapon. I called it my tail. For a moment I let out a sigh of relief, thinking that we were safe. But the bar couldn't hold our weight and began to bend. I tightened my left fist and grabbed the man's shirt harder. I burned the last drop of energy inside me with all that adrenaline I had and forced every single muscle cell to release all of their power. Justice was not something that I only talked about. I threw him up towards the roof. We were quickly moving away from each other in opposite directions. The metal bar finally gave out, and it was torn away from the concrete on the ledge. I began falling with it. I could hear the wind gushing in my ears. Numerous visions were flashing in front of my eyes like a horse lamp of my life. What does that mean? Oh, okay. I know these. Okay. I could see my father, my mother, my master, and the big brother who had planted the seed of justice in my heart. I could feel the solid concrete break every bone in my body. Ah, this poor guy. Okay, so I need to put the fire department thing over here. It didn't hurt as much as I expected, though. Then I felt warm fluids coming out of every part of my body. Let's see. Someone quickly ran past me and bumped into my arm. My phone was knocked out of my hand and dropped on the ground. It kept spinning ahead and almost fell down a storm drain. That was close. It was total chaos in front of the burning building. Let's see. I left the crowd and walked to the next street, asking the pedestrians about Alicia. Okay. Well, that's not good. Okay, so the fire truck needs to be over there. And without the fire truck, the gang will put out the fire themselves. Let's see. Someone quickly ran past me and bumped into my arm. My phone was knocked out of my hand. It stopped at another man's feet. The fire trucks hadn't arrived yet. However, this man in a black trench coat seemed to have summoned a lot of people to help put out the fire. He picked up my phone with his left hand and saw my sister's picture. Then he asked me in English what my relationship was with her. There was no expression on his face the entire time. After hearing my explanation, he tossed the phone back to me. Then he said, "Come back here tomorrow." "You know my sister?" I walked up to him in excitement, but a huge man in a black suit stopped me. The man in the trench coat looked like he wasn't going to answer any of my questions, and turned his attention back to his men in the fire. The suit guy seemed like he was twice my size. He looked down upon me, and I could see a deep scar on his face. Fine, I'd come back tomorrow. Still, I never thought I would find a clue about Alicia just like this. The Lord must be blessing us. Sister, we would soon meet again. I just knew it. Let's see. Let's see if the fire truck will come save him. So far, this is going pretty well, though. What's the skip button? I guess there's no skip button. The soundtrack's nice, though. Okay, let's see if I did it this time. Okay, rank S. Cool. Yeah, that's not too bad. Oh, new letters.
Dios, ¿qué debería hacer?
So, new one for Jimmy and Carlos. Let's see. We should probably do Lee Wen's first. Oops. The last class of the day was art. I pushed open the door of the classroom and I was shocked by what I saw. What was happening? The room that usually only had a dozen people in it was now almost full. It was like a scene from a beach in the middle of summer. There wouldn't be enough easels for everyone. Just when I was wondering whether I should leave and go study, I saw Jing waving me over from the front row. Why are there so many people today? I sat down at the seat Jing had saved for me. You really don't know anything, do you? Miss Liu is on her maternity leave. Liu? Liu, I think is how you pronounce it? Okay. So we have a new substitute today. Somebody saw him earlier in the office and posted his pictures on the school BBS. He looks so handsome. I looked around, and only then did I realize that almost all of the newcomers were girls. Why was Rocky here? What was a boy doing here? I took my phone out and tried to log into the BBS. I found myself unknowingly imagining what the new handsome teacher would look like while waiting for the page to load. Well-made pink shirt, rolled-up sleeves, top button unbuttoned, pale and flawless skin, impeccable face from the side. The Wi-Fi signal wasn't very strong, and I couldn't look for a long time. Then the front door of the room was slowly pushed open. With everyone staring at him, the new teacher slowly walked across to the podium and softly wrote down his name on the blackboard. Oh, it's the guy from earlier! Okay. When's that run? I'll be teaching the art class for the seniors, starting today. I looked him up and down, and I noticed that this Mr. Wen was wearing flip-flops to class. His ensemble also included a pair of casual pants with the legs rolled up, a gray t-shirt, and a wrinkled jacket. Not just that, but his chin suggested he hadn't shaved for days. I turned to my side and whispered to Xing, "How is this old man handsome?" Xing just ignored me. I looked up and realized that the teacher was staring right at me. Oh no. I can feel the secondhand embarrassment from here. Suddenly, Rocky raised his hand and asked loudly, "Mr. Wen, how old are you, and do you have a girlfriend?" The entire class erupted into a loud murmur. Everyone was staring at this teacher even more intensely. "Thank you, Rocky, for getting me out of trouble." Mr. Wen slowly took off his jacket and laid it on the back of the chair next to him. "I'm 35. The girls immediately began whispering to each other. His response had certainly intrigued everyone even more. Rocky, however, didn't seem to be satisfied with the answer. Mr. Wen ignored the commotion in the room and took a banana-shaped statue out of the accessory cabinet. People with an easel began to prepare their paper. The ones without one took out their sketching pads. The class was going to be over soon. Near the end of the class, Mr. Wen said he would like to pick an assistant from the class. Anybody who was interested could stand up and nominate him or herself. However, he would need to check his or her sketch. Xing stood up. How brave. When Mr. Wen walked over and picked up the sketch, he shook his head and tore it into two halves. Oh geez, that's mean. Rocky stood up from his seat. I stood up from my seat too. And then the bell rang. Xing was sobbing, and I was completely in shock too. Not only did Mr. Wen tear up her sketch, he even said to her, "Are you serious? Did you seriously just draw something like that? I'll not tolerate this kind of thing in my class. We were just regular high school students. We were not in art school. Are you serious?" Rocky jumped right in front of the teacher. I tried to stop him, but it was too late. Rocky punched Mr. Wen right in the face. Mr. Wen, however, didn't react, despite having just been hit by a student. He simply gave Rocky a glance and walked out of the room without saying a word. Rocky, he was always so self-righteous. The only thing more important in his life might be his ball games. I bet if the bell had rung and the class had been over, he wouldn't have bothered, and would have just gone off to play basketball. After that, Mr. Wen never came back to the class. Maybe somebody filed a complaint about him. Or maybe... I had always had a feeling that he didn't look like he wanted to be a teacher. The next art teacher always dressed impeccably well. He was also incredibly dull. Li Wen. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Maybe like this? Mr. Wen tore up Rocky's sketch and said, "Why don't you bring this to the class next time so everyone can practice with it?" Rocky's face suddenly turned into the brightest red I had ever seen. A minute ago, he had been acting like the king of the world. What did he draw exactly? Ah. Still punched him. Okay. So I need the bell to ring and for Rocky to leave before anything else. Okay. Maybe like this. Oh, tore up her sketch. Okay. Wow. You idiot, Rocky loudly jeered. That bastard. I made a face at him. Yeah, well, okay, it could be better. Let's see. Maybe it's just the order. Oh, wait. Well, I mean, I know it's just the order. What am I saying? Okay, I stood up for my seat too. Maybe the bell ringing has to be first? What's the ending chart look like? Well, I can get them all. Let's see. Let's try that again. Maybe this? Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Boring. Rocky picked up his basketball from under his seat, casually walked out of the classroom and disappeared into the after-class crowd that was filling the hallway. Other people were leaving as well, while talking with each other about what had just happened. Nobody ever mentioned picking an assistant ever again, either. I walked with Jing on the track field and told her dozens of jokes until she finally felt a little better. That old man. Not only did he dress terribly, his temper was even worse. How could the school hire such a person to be a teacher? Well, okay. It's rank A, so it's not too bad, but I want to go for S. How to make this better? Maybe standing up before the bell rings? Oh, seeing Jing cry like that, I couldn't control my anger. Mr. Wen, you are way out of line. You need to apologize to Jing. Mr. Wen gave me a glance and picked up my sketch. Boring. Rocky picked up his basketball from under his seat, casually walked out of the classroom, and disappeared into the after-class crowd that was filling the hallway. Other people were leaving as well. There were fewer and fewer people left in the room. I collected my stuff into my backpack, getting ready to leave. You. Stay and clean up the room. What? I stopped what I was doing and looked at Mr. Wen in disbelief. He handed my sketch back to me. After all, you're my assistant for this course now. He turned away and walked back into the front of the classroom. I then realized that everyone who was still in the room was staring at me. Everyone looked like they were gawking at a circus monkey on the street. What the hell? I had no intention of being a freaking assistant to that guy. Jing put her arm around my shoulder. Congratulations. Let me buy you dinner sometime, you poor kid. I burst out laughing. Well, whatever. Okay. There we go. Okay. There's Renkas. That wasn't too bad. Oh, new letter.
这都是我的错。
有没有搞错？
Let's see. Oh wait, these two happened at the same time. Carlos and Jimmy, huh? They went on Jimmy's too. Wonder if any more is added to his profile. I mean, he is cute. They were right. Everyone lining up to see him was right. I guess I'll do this one with Jimmy and Carlos. My mother had always complained that I never exercised. She'd always say that if I ever needed to run away from bad guys, I would be dead in just a few steps. There were not that many bad guys in the world. Besides, even if there were, I think I could just stay in my room and not go outside. It is the information era, after all. As long as I can get information online, I can play with the real world in the palm of my hand. Yet, even though I managed to dodge all of the recruiting activities for the school sports meet, my roommate had totally ruined my perfect plan. Today was the all-school sports meet. I thought I could have made up an excuse, like a foot injury, so that I would have to sit under a tree, and I could just stay in my room and play on my computer. But Rocky had signed me up for the 4x400 relay race without me even knowing about it, and now I had to stand under the scorching sun. 400 meters! Madness. Last time I'd been in a race, I was still in elementary school. I hadn't even hit puberty. I thought I might die on the track today. The gun went off. I took it from his hand. I never knew that Rocky was so fast. She was actually in first place during his third leg run. Still, why was I the final leg? What were people thinking? There was nothing else I could do but run like my life depended on it. The people along the tracks were cheering for me. Couldn't really tell who they were, but this actually felt pretty great. I was only 50 meters from the finish line, and no one had caught up with me yet. I must have underestimated myself. Look at me, Mom. Your son's about to win a race. I looked straight to the finish line, then I saw her. I saw my crush. Oh no, don't distract me at such a moment. It was too late. I had only lost my focus for 1 second, and the tip of my foot tripped over a bump on the track. My entire body left the ground, and then my face smashed into the ground. By the time I got back up, the other teams had all run past the finish line. This man is the stalker from the one letter? Yeah, it actually is. I'm not really rooting for him right now. You were starting to like him. He's, I kind of wish I didn't have to be nice to him. But I will be a benevolent god. Although it had just suffered a fire, Pitt Street 99 was still open for business. It was a small and old building. The walls were covered with flyers and graffiti. I walked through the main gate and saw a narrow staircase. There was also a small desk at the bottom of the stairs, facing the entrance. A man with spiky hair was sitting behind the desk with his legs crossed. He put down the magazine, which had a woman with big breasts on the cover, and asked what I was doing there. I told him that a man in a long black trench coat had told me to come here. Trench coat? Everyone here wears a trench coat. I'm telling you, this is not just some place you can just walk in. You better get out of here before I stab you with a knife. As opposed to what? Hold on. Okay. Spiky hair picked up the magazine again. I tried to recall what the guy looked like. A white shirt, gray vest, short black hair that was combed to the back. He also had a big guy in a black suit with a scarred face by his side. Scarred face? Mr. Tough? Hold on. Does the guy you're talking about have his right hand? Spiky put down his magazine and his legs, leaned towards me and asked quietly. Right hand? Couldn't remember exactly, but I did remember that he'd picked up my phone with his left hand. He shouted upstairs. Mr. Kwan, the guy I've been waiting for is here. I looked at the staircase with anticipation. However, the man who came down was not the one I had met. He was wearing a leather jacket and a pair of sunglasses. He had high cheekbones, and he looked much older. He took me all the way to a suburb on the back of his motorcycle. Mr. Kwan spoke very fluent English. He told me that the building we had just been in was the headquarters of the Black Dragon Gang, the biggest gang in Hong Kong. And the person who told me to come was the second in command of the gang. He had instructed Mr. Kwan to induct me as a pledge. A pledge was a potential candidate to join the gang. But before officially admitting me, Mr. Kwan had to make sure I was qualified. Mr. Kwan put a gun in my hand. I was stunned. You don't have to do it. If you're not willing to do this, we can leave right now. Just pretend you'd never have met me. Mr. Kwan took a small metal box out of his pocket and threw a piece of gum in his mouth. No, I'll do it. I couldn't let go of any chance to find Alicia. Besides, I had a brilliant idea. Oh no. No! Don't let this nice kid turn to the life of crime. I went to a convenience store nearby. Most of the goods on the shelves seemed to be used goods. Some of them were covered with a thick layer of dust. The owner looked like he was over 60. He was reading a book behind the counter. It was just the two of us in the store. I walked up to the counter, smashed my left hand down on it, lifted the gun with my right hand and pointed it at his head. I yelled in my meanest voice, "Give me all of your money, or I'm gonna blow your head open. Yeah, this kid is not gang material." Then I whispered to the old man about what was going on, making sure that Mr. Kwan wouldn't be able to hear me. I was so nervous, even though I had no intention of robbing him for real. No! No! I don't want Carlos to get hurt. I like Carlos. He's really sweet. He's just trying to find his sister. This is so sad. I handed him what was in my hand. Please. The other put down his book and looked at me pleadingly. We need the money here for my wife's hospital bill. I can't give it to you. Everything else in the shop is like, if you like, is all yours. All yours. Please, please. Apparently you'd only heard my threats, not my whispers. Tears rolled down my face. I must have lost my mind to be robbing a poor old man like this. Even if it was all fake, I never should have done this. I handed the gun to the owner and loudly told him why I was there and what I had been through. To my utter surprise, after hearing my story, the owner offered to help me ask about my sister, and even asked if I'd be willing to stay here and help out in the store. He said I was welcome to stay as long as I didn't mind the little wage he could afford. I gave the old man a huge hug. Outside the store, Mr. Kwan had already left. I'd never see him again. I started working at the store while looking for information about Alicia. Days went by and I still hadn't heard anything. Lord, what should I do to find my sister? Should I have joined the gang instead? No! This is a fine ending. Don't join the gang. What are you doing? Oh, man. Special restrictions. Yes, remember when I told you that the white pieces could be moved anywhere? Except past the first and last black pieces in the letter, of course. Yes, I do remember. When special restrictions are in place, that will no longer be the case. If you put I handed him and I got it from both on the left side, then the former has to open after the latter. Okay. Because you can't hand the baton over and then have it back again. Furthermore, if you put the gun went off piece on the left side too, it has to happen before the match begins. There's another sequence restriction on these pieces too. Okay. I see. All sequence restrictions are labeled by a number. The pieces with smaller numbers cannot be placed after the pieces with larger numbers. Okay. Since the aforementioned restrictions only apply to the left side, there's a straight vertical... Okay. I see. Numbers marked on the left side. Okay, yes. This makes sense. To the sequence, there are other special restrictions such as conflict. We'll have to deal with that when we see it. Oh no. It's gonna get more confusing. Well, this doesn't look too difficult. Let's see. I finally handed the baton off to the next leg. If I would take one more step, I was going to throw up blood and die right there, right then. Our team was in second place. It was all up to Rocky now. Rocky soon finished the first 200 meters, but something didn't seem right. Had he eaten something bad today? In the end, not only did Rocky fail to pass Class 2, he was eventually passed by Class 4, 10 meters away from the finish line. That sucked. Although, being part of this actually felt pretty great. So that was like a normal ending. Okay. Yana was so frightened that he was shaking. He immediately took a few large bills out of a drawer and handed them to me. Aw. Apparently he had only heard my threats, not my whispers. Aw. Looking upon a 60-year-old man with an ailing wife at home, crying and begging me to spare his life, I could barely hold the tears in myself. Mr. Kwan took the money from my hand with a satisfied look on his face. I was then admitted into the Black Dragon gang. A few days later, in the evening, I took a motorcycle from someone else in the group and came back to the store. I stuffed all the money I'd borrowed for the past few days under the rolling door of the store. Sorry and thank you, Mr. Owner. Huh? A rank S for Carlos, but a rank A for Jimmy? Well, how do I fix that? Maybe... The whispers didn't seem to matter that much, so it has to be the please, right? Okay, cool. Cheering. Let's go, Rocky. Go, go, go. I'll buy you ice cream. Now that I'd participated, I wanted us to win too. I couldn't help but start cheering Rocky on. Many of the people around me were cheering for him too. I never knew that participating in this kind of event could actually feel pretty great. Rocky suddenly sped up. He finally ran past Class 2 with 10 meters left. He You crossed the finish line first. Well done. We were happily hugging and shoving each other near the finish line. My stomach hurt a little. Can we do barbecue instead of ice cream? You're funny. I pushed Rocky aside and caught a glimpse of someone. It was my crush. And she was looking at us. And she was smiling. Wow, I never knew I could get this kind of reward by participating in the meet. I felt so happy. So happy. Okay, cool. That one was actually pretty easy, but I guess it was kind of a tutorial-ish one.
¿Por qué me pasan este tipo de cosas?
Wait, that's a new person. Who's that? I can't open their profile yet. I'll go ahead and save here. Let's see. Can't continue these guys' stories yet. Only Carlos and the new person. Oh, and Li Wen and Jimmy. Which one should I do next? I think I'll do one more. Carlos again? Alright. Carlos is with the new person too. I think I'll do this last one and call it for the night. I'd been a member of the Black Dragon Gang for 2 months, but I was still yet to officially meet Mr. Lin. Mr. Lin was the second in command of the Black Dragon Gang. We met once on the day of the fire at Pitt Street 99. He was also the one who had me inducted into the gang. I thought I would be able to get some information about my sister once I joined the gang, but soon I had found that everyone in my group, including our leader, Mr. Kwan, knew nothing about her. As for Mr. Lin himself, he rarely ever came to number 99 in person. Still, there were some upsides from joining the gang. At least I didn't have to worry about room and board anymore. My Cantonese was also improving a lot. Besides, not everyone in the gang was as scary as one would expect of a gang member. Ren was one of the nice guys. I belonged to the group loyalty team. The group oversaw the loan business, so we were essentially the loan sharks in the gang. Now that I had become a member, I couldn't just coast along without doing anything. But I also didn't want to do wrong things. I told Ren about my predicament during one of our conversations. Ren then told Mr. Kwan that he wanted to bring me along when he went debt collecting. Every time we went, Ren would whisk the kids of the families away first. Then I would tear apart their old clothes, spill some chicken blood on them, and mail the clothes to the debtors. Once we were sure that the debtors had received the bloody clothes, Ren would then make a phone call. Hey, you've got the package, right? I'm giving you 3 days. If you still don't have our money, you'll be getting more than just the clothes next time. He sounded like Uncle Wang, the big butcher at the street corner with a violent attitude. And the afro on his head would bounce 3 times with a rhythm every time he yelled at his customers. As soon as he put down the phone, he would immediately turn into a preschool teacher and go play with our hostages, who are wearing the new clothes we just bought them. Ren would get scolded by Mr. Kwan every once in a while. He said Hong Kong was too small of a place. If everyone learned how group loyalty handled the business, it would become more and more difficult to collect the money. But Ren never took it seriously. Ren knew that I had come to Hong Kong to find my sister. Even though he couldn't help much, he would always allow me to go out and look for her whenever there weren't any assignments. Every time Mr. Kwan asked about me, he would also cover for me. Just like today, I had been out asking around the whole morning, but I still got nothing. When I got back to number 99, everyone in the group seemed to have a strange smirk on their faces. Ren said they were going to go and get a massage, and they'd been waiting for me to come back so they could put me on watch duty. Ah. Yeah, figures. I laughed knowingly. Help yourself for the beer on the table. I paid for those. We're off. Oh, and I almost forgot. There's someone in the room who Mr. Khan had told us to keep an eye on. Don't let her get away. Then they left. A girl was tied to a chair in the corner of the room. Although there was a cloth stuffed to her mouth, she still seemed very pretty. She looked Asian, but she had dark skin like mine. Her eyes were thin and curly like a pair of new moons. Her shining black hair draped down from her head like a dark waterfall. And she was wearing a purple short skirt. It looked like the skirt had been torn on its side. Well, if Mr. Kwan wanted her watched, then I would just watch her. No need to think too much about it. I slapped my cheeks to keep myself alert. I raised the bottle. Then a rope snapped. I was reading the labels on Ren's beers and I heard the sound of a rope snapping. Before I could turn around, I felt a hand strike the back of my neck. I blacked out. I didn't know how long had passed. A bucket of cold water was thrown in my face. I woke up with a shudder and opened my eyes. I saw Mr. Kwan standing right in front of me. Everybody was back in the room. They all had a terrible look on their faces. I looked at the corner again. The chair was still there, and there were 2 halves of a rope on the floor. The girl was gone. Oh crap, I'd made a terrible mistake. Ren tossed a knife over to me and looked away. I'd not been in the group for long, but I knew the rules. If I wanted to stay, I had to do this. I bit my lip hard and cut off my left pinky finger. Half of the bloody finger dropped to the floor. Blood was still gushing out. Poor guy. Aw. It hurt like hell, but I was a man. I didn't make a sound. Who on earth was that girl? If only I'd been a little more alert. Why did he cut off his own pinky finger? It's a ritual in the Mafia and some gangs. If you make a mistake, you must cut off your own pinky finger. Some gangs might even make their new members cut it off before officially joining. Wow, that's so scary. Oh, poor Carlos. Okay, so we just have to keep the girl from escaping. And then the other the other letters. My name is Park Sangum. I'm 12 years old. I live in Korea. My home was on a hill. There were a lot of similar old houses on that hill. And the one that was the highest was my home. There were good and bad things about living there. And the good thing was, since our house was so high up, we got to be farther away from the other houses, and so we had a big yard. However, I had to climb the stairs for over half an hour every day just to go and buy my dad a bottle of vodka at the convenience store at the bottom of the hill. If I didn't go, Dad would get angry. He would beat me with his belt. Oh no, this poor kid! It wasn't just me either. He would also hit my mom, too. I never understood why he would do that. I just wish that if we could figure it out, maybe Mom wouldn't have to be beaten anymore. Dad was a road construction and maintenance worker. He used to come back home with mud all over his clothes. But for the past 2 months, he always came home clean. Sometimes he would bring back some money and give it to Mom. Other times, though, he would take some money out of the pot where we kept our food money. Mom always worked very hard. She had to wash a lot of clothes and sheets during the day for other people. She said she was getting paid for washing them. I really wanted to help Mom, but I was too short. I couldn't even reach the pole where she hung the clothes and sheets to dry. They let 12-year-olds buy vodka there. Yeah. I wonder what year this takes place in, because that's some very lax laws. Alex came by today. He lived on the hill, too. Alex was Russian, just like Mom. They both had blonde hair and blue eyes, just like me. The other kids who lived nearby didn't like me at all. They always said I looked weird. Only Sue Me from the bakery would play with me. She once told me that she wanted to open a cake shop together with me, but I didn't like cakes. There was an ant nest in our yard. I was watching the ants carrying things into their nests. I bet they must have a very big home. Suddenly it started raining. A large raindrop almost blocked the entrance to the nest. I went back inside to get an umbrella, and then I came back and covered the nest. Mom and Alex were taking the sheets back inside. Then Dad came home. He was Korean. He had black hair and brown eyes. He was back earlier than usual today. He saw Alex there and kicked the umbrella away. Alex left. Mom went to the house with Dad. I followed them inside as well. Yeah. Open a bakery with your childhood friend. Come on, also. Oh no. I don't like where this is going. Dad slapped Mom on the face and pushed her to the floor. He took a rope out from the cabinet. No, I don't like where this is going. I don't like where this is going. No. The rope was wrapped around her neck and choked her. 5 minutes later, I grabbed onto Dad's arm with my whole body, but I couldn't stop him. He was too strong for me. Dad kicked me in the stomach and shoved me off of him. I fell and crashed into the corner of the room. Bastard. Dad called me that word a lot. I used to ask Mom what it meant. She told me that it just meant bad child. Dad finally let go. Mom collapsed onto the floor, but she didn't get back up. It was as if she had fallen asleep. I tried to shake her awake. I tried as hard as I could and shouted as loud as I could. She would not wake up. I heard the door open behind me. I turned around. Dad had run out, and I didn't know where he was going. I held onto Mom's arm and cried. Why? I've always been a good child. God, please let Mom wake up. Oh God, okay. I'll do my best. I promise I will be an even better child. No, it's not your fault. No. No, don't apologize. No. It's not your fault. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. No, he's asking for the miracle now, and that's why we're gonna help him. The rope fell out of Dad's hands. He was about to pick it up when the doorbell rang. Dad went into the yard. It sounded like Alex had brought some people over to intervene. He had once tried to do it by himself, but he was badly beaten by Dad and kicked out. He never dared to come back on his own since. When Dad returned from the door, he seemed to have forgotten about what was going on. He just gave me a kick when he walked past me and went straight to bed. It's not his fault. No, it's not his fault. It's never his fault. I'm going to protect this kid with my life. Mom sat on the ground and cried. I climbed over into her arms just like I always did. Every time Dad lost his temper, we would huddle together like this. It was the only way we could make ourselves feel better. We were lucky enough to get through it this time. But what about next time? How long should we have to keep living like this? I hated to be so scared all the time. I wished I never had a dad like him. Mr. Kwan had come back. He pulled up a chair in front of the girl and sat down. He began asking her questions. The others had come back from the massage as well. We were all standing next to the wall. No one dared make a sound. From Mr. Kwan's questions, I learned that the girl's name was Ye. Ye? Ye? I hope that's how you pronounce that. Mr. Kwan had only met her recently. Mr. Kwan had even bought her an apartment. Mr. Kwan was a tough man, but he had always been very gentle to women, and he had never slept around either. Therefore, he couldn't tolerate being betrayed by his woman. A few days ago, he found out that Ye had been hanging out with people from the Blood Gang. He began to suspect she had been approaching him with other intentions. He decided to find out the truth. Mr. Kwan dumped a bucket of ice water on her head. The air conditioning had been set to max power, and at 16 degrees Celsius, and it had been blowing directly at her. Every time she would not answer a question, he would cut off some of her hair or slap her in the face. He was quite tough, though. Her mouth had started bleeding, almost all of her hair had been cut off, and she still hadn't spoken once. But Mr. Kwan was tougher. He sent Ren to fetch him a bottle of white flower oil. He twisted off the cap, forced Yen's eyes open, and was about to drop it into her eyes. Ye was shaking uncontrollably, and tears were welling out of her eyes. She was finally broken. Oh, this sucks too! Mr. Kwan was right about everything. Ye was not just a member of the Blood Gang. She was also the niece of their big boss, Mr. Chang. But that wasn't what had angered Mr. Kwan the most. Ye hadn't seduced him to infiltrate group loyalty for our loan business. She was only trying to get closer to the other groups of the Black Dragon Gang. She'd only chosen Kwan because he was single, and therefore an easier and more convenient target for her. The Blood Gang had never cared about the loan business at all. Mr. Kwan was outraged, feeling incredibly insulted. Carlos, take care of this bitch. Never let me see her again. Let's see. So I'm just one off. Time to smack Dad. Let's get this bitch. I must stop Dad. I climbed up onto the table and smashed the vodka bottle onto his head. He suddenly stopped and fell to the ground on his back. Something dark and red was coming out of Dad's head and onto the floor. Mom sat back up. Her face was pale like a piece of paper. She coughed violently for a while and cried. I carefully climbed off of the table and ran into her arms, just like I always did. Okay. I didn't know what Dad would do to us when he woke up. I wished I never had a dad like him. Park Sang-gun's story is so sad. And why is his father so cruel? Why would someone kill his own wife? And now we've turned a child into a murderer? Okay. I think murder is okay in this circumstance. That guy really did deserve it. Thank goodness we could help him. I know it's not self-defense, but he was doing it, there's gotta be something like, some kind of clause, like, since he was doing it to save the life of another person. Like, it's totally understandable, right? Oh, come on, dog. You're not gonna justify this. No! The boy will be fine. Let's see. If only he hadn't had a father like this, yeah. Man. Just kind of having to stew in this ending a bit. That sucks. Man. Oh, the cat. Hold on. That's not a meow. That's a man in a cat suit pretending to meow. Why couldn't you just get a meow sound effect? Jeez. Let's see. There are a lot of characters in this. I think Carlos is my favorite so far. Carlos is just doing his best. Yeah, so I guess next time I'll continue with the Li Wen and Jimmy story that I didn't do. Let's see. Oh no. Your favorite's the corrupt cop? Okay. I won't say that I agree with him, because I don't agree with him. I think he needs to chill it a bit. He needs to chill out, like, a lot. But he is a little sexy. I'll give him that. I'll give him that. Like, I mean, come on. That's a good-looking guy. He really does need to chill, though. Yeah, I hope he gets a redemption arc. Come on. I mean, we're changing his fate, so he won't be corrupt for long, hopefully. Lee Wen is just kind of vibing. Lee Wen and Jimmy are both kind of vibing. Everyone else is, like, wrapped up in this super serious stuff. Like, when Savran is like, oh, I'm dealing with depression because my wife is dead or something, and then this kid is, like, abused. Carlos had to join the mafia trying to find his sister. These guys are, like, living in a cop drama. Alicia is, like, escaping human trafficking. Jeez. What's I want to know what the cat's going to deal with. Watch the cat have the most serious and dark storyline of them all. Carlos didn't have to join the mafia, he chose to. Well, according to the letter ranking system, the best outcome is him joining the mafia. So, oh no. That means him joining the mafia is our fault. I'm sorry, Carlos. I hope you can find your sister. But yeah, I'll definitely have to keep playing this. I'm kind of into it now. I won't play this one off stream like I went with, like I did with Nocia. I ended up finishing Nocia the other day, actually. It was really good. I'll probably start a second playthrough and stream that, but I just got so into it. I had to play it off stream. But this one I'll save to play on stream. I promise. The cat's probably a war veteran. Yeah. Or it's gonna be like some dude who got like reincarnated into a cat's body or something. There does tend to be a trend of characters dying all the time. Yeah, I'm getting hungry, so I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thanks for joining, as always. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. It's been nice to see you back again. And that's just not you, Apple. That's everyone watching. Yeah, have a good evening. I'll be streaming again on Friday. Me and Simone are gonna continue Trauma Team again. So, see you then.